Can you guys hear me now? Thank you. Can you guys hear me now? Let me know. Let me know. I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me right now. I've gotten like multiple audio machines. Let me know if you guys get me going. Can you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me. Awesome. All right. Okay. All right. God damn it. God freaking damn it. I went all in. And God damn it, no sound. We struggle streaming already, but this is great. This is great. So we're gonna pretend like y'all didn't hear shit, and we're gonna start over again. So what got Bandman Kevo on the Duke and Don radar, fellas? Because I've been following this gentleman, all right, ever since I've heard of him from Spencer Cornelia, right? Spencer Cornelia was the main one that kind of brought him to Commander Junior says Duke was speaking women language. Absolutely, bro. You couldn't hear what the hell I was saying. But what brought Bandman Kevo on our radar? What brought Bandman Kevo on the Duke and Don radar was the fact that Bandman Kevo was pretty much Spencer Cornelia did a video about him, all right? And it was a video basically about him talking about real estate, right? And I was going over that video and I was like, this is actually quite scathing what Spencer Cornelia is saying about Bandman Kevo, because a lot of this stuff, it actually seems kind of like facts, right? And then on top of that, Pocket Watcher with JT kind of did some more follow-ups on that to kind of let everyone know what this man was all about. So, yeah, we did our own little research, and we realized that out of all these people, right, Mr. Organics, we're talking about Omi and the Hellcat, we're talking about Fresh Prince CEO, we're talking about Bandman Kevo himself, all right? What do they all have in common, unlike the fact they like to wear chains and they all drive Lamborghini Uruses? Like, that's not a joke, guys. They all drive the same car. Hey, Mr. Organics, I can see why you decided to go ahead and get you a Lamborghini Urus, because your buddies over here, the Scamming Incorporated, they all got themselves Lamborghini Uruses. And come to find out, you're the one that had to jump into it. So not only y'all got the chains, they're all fucking backdoor rappers, all right? And they all drive the exact same car. What the main thing that they're known for is actually doing stuff that is less than savvy, is AKA scamming people. And Mr. Organics and Mr. Organics, Bandman Kevo was actually known for scamming people. Matter of fact, he was arrested for scamming people before he got onto the YouTube scene. And one thing I gotta help you guys understand is that one thing about these manifestation gurus, all right, at some point in time, they were scamming people before they got online. At some point in time, these dudes were involved in some kind of scam before they got online. Mr. Organics, okay? Let's not forget the little Escalade he was talking about, bragging about, whipping about when he was younger at 19, right? He got that through bank fraud. Writing fake checks, okay? The same thing with Omi and the Hellcat. Now, in this case, it was a little bit more sophisticated. He was still intellectual property, okay, from a lot of big, powerful cable companies, and he paid the price. But when you ask him when he come online, hey, Omi, how the hell did you get your money? Oh, yeah, I worked in the construction business. That's right, okay? And the same thing with Bandman Kevo. And Bandman Kevo, we're going to be diving a little deep because his is actually pretty freaking interesting. And he's one of those guys you hear kind of popping up all around the place, but you don't really go into what the hell is this guy all about, right? Because right off the bat, he's got the scamming fucking look 101, all right? You got to get the chain, you got to floss online, all right? You got to get your Lamborghini Urus. You can't be known as a qualified scammer unless you're driving a Lamborghini Urus, okay? You got to have the chains, you got to have the car, all right? And also, you also have to be a rapper. In this case, Bandman Kevo was also a rapper before getting to the YouTube scene, but that was before he started scamming, and he started scamming at 19. So what got me into this, right? Let me go ahead and pull up the video that kind of got me into this, because it was very, very interesting. Give me 1 second, all right? We're gonna pull this right up. So I got the video pulled up, right? And it was this one Spencer Cornelia was covering, and it had a lot to do with Bandman Kevo. This was actually the video that actually exposed the first one. I would say the first one that initially exposed them, but the first video that kind of put a lot of people onto him, especially when Spencer Cornelia did that particular video, right? And this video was this one right here. These guru taught me mortgage fraud. This is where he put the scam on a big fucking lead. He put everybody on into what Bandman Kevo was doing. Now, in this particular video, Bandman Kevo and another individual, I forgot what this guy name is. I think Raphael or something like that. And we'll go to the full clip. But they were talking about different ways you guys can go ahead and invest in a mortgage using debt. Now, some of you guys who've been day ones and some of you guys who are new or kind of watched our past videos where it's caught me going on a rant or kind of a tangent covering Bandman Kevo, right? Basically talking about where he came from and what he was doing. And I would always mention that part of the things that he would do was basically encourage people to invest in mortgage fraud, right? And you guys are wondering, like, where the hell did you hear that? Where the hell did you get the idea that Bandman Kevo was helping people or telling people, his followers, to invest in these frauds, right? Well, I would tell you this, all right? This was the video right here where it blew everything out of the water. So we're not even going to play Spencer Cornelius' reaction. The reason why I went to this particular video because he actually linked the real video to the person who uploaded it, right? And here's his page right here. His name is Raphael Vegas.
Raphael Vargas here. In this video, when he was talking about the Sikhs and
all right, let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. I don't want to keep going on a tangent like I did like 20 minutes ago and you guys not hear me, okay? All right, so this is the video right here. We're going to break this down step by step, all right? Because this is before we go into the whole scamming thing. You guys got to understand, before these guys get on YouTube, okay, the main thing they do is they have some kind of shady thing they've done before they kind of get on YouTube. And in this case, Bandman Kevo is realistically no different. So we're going to head and play this video, and we're going to point out some inconsistencies that we found kind of off with what he was saying in terms of what he was trying to get his followers to do, aka bank fraud, versus what the real world would let you know what happened if you decide to go down these paths that he's telling you. And one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is how nonchalant this person just kind of gives this information out, this false information out to people that want to eat it up. And the one thing you guys got to understand about these particular people that eat up this garbage, these are people who want to get rich quick. All right. So some of the stale stuff that he's going to be mentioning here, all right, is going to be very important for later on. So you guys pay attention. We're going to give you the whole history of this man. All right. Bandman Kevo, from scammer, okay, to rapper, to YouTube hustler. All right. So we're going to cover it all and more. So stay tuned. And for those of you guys joining in, please do us a massive solid and hit the like button. Okay. Likes are free. So is the show. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Okay.
the tips that Bandman has a lot of cash, but we don't really know how to master the art of credit, right, Kevo? Yeah. So my question to you is, a lot of people watching this are in real estate. They flip real estate. They got a lot of cash. They might have $100,000, $1 million. What's the best? Why is credit so important? Even if you're in real estate, or it doesn't matter what you in. Why is credit so important?
Credit is so important because the whole goal to real estate is not really using your cash. You want to basically take the percentages that real estate offers, like as far as banks. So, for instance, let's say if you have a credit score of 800 with a $100,000 credit limit, you want to basically take the 3% to 10% that you put down on a home and own the home off that small percentage while you're paying notes. That's why real estate agents be so thirsty for people to buy homes, because even if you put down that 10% or that 5%, the banks are still going to pay them for that home with your percentage down. You just will owe the bank. So if you put 3% down on one building and you still have all that $300,000, $400,000 left over, you can take another 3%, 3% times 50, and you own 50 new units.
Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? So he's basically saying that, okay, look, like, you guys know that I'm not tripping when I was telling you that this is how he was perpetuating bank fraud, essentially wire fraud to a certain extent, right? He's basically said you get one loan for 3% down, okay, and you have $300,000, and then you keep pretty much repeating the same strategy, taking the 3% down, taking the 3% down in order to do it for 50 houses. And after 50 houses, well, guess what? Now you have a multi-income kind of property situation. Fuck. No, that's not how that works. That is not how that freaking works, man. You guys got to understand. First of all, if you buy a house with less than the amount needed, like a 3% down, a lot of programs require you to live in the residence for at least a year or longer. Okay, so when you listen, man, when you try to perpetuate something like that, first things first, a bank's not gonna come up there and say, oh, okay, this person has got a loan for $300,000 and it's been less than a year, and they're coming to me for another loan for another $300,000. You don't think that your debt to income is going to come factor in? They'll look at you having another loan for over $300,000 out there, and the second bank's going to say, fuck no. You got to do something with this first mortgage first before we decide to go ahead and get you another mortgage, yet alone 50. So this is the kind of idea, and part of it when he goes later on to in talking about these guys how to finance it, is the Airbnb style, right? So when you rent this out for 3%, you do the whole Airbnb thing. It takes care of your cost, and then when all that's being paid off, you just replicate the entire process and continue. Fellas, pay attention to this nonsense, and this is how you end up in jail, like Bandman Kevo.
Able to build like your Airbnb portfolio. Like
exactly.
We literally just left the building where he just got an Airbnb just now.
Exactly.
Security.
They're talking about Airbnb right now.
In this building, and he was telling me like, bro, I'm getting Airbnbs in this building so it can pay for my penthouse that I'm about to live in.
Exactly.
So like, what does Grant Cardone talk about? Same thing.
Grant Cardone, okay, listen. Grant Cardone, excellent salesperson. I'm not going to take that from him. Bandman Kevo, excellent marketer, excellent salesperson. Matter of fact, this person runs more ads than anything else in the book, okay? Listen, Grant Cardone does real estate syndication, which is also, in a sense, a kind of a house of cards, all right? This guy leverages billions of dollars worth of loans based off of investor money, all right? Accredited investor money, and then buys these highly expensive, real estate properties, right? And he basically wants each unit to finance the overall loan or the overall mortgage or investment that he took out, or loan against the investment that he took out. So essentially, if the market on commercial real estate or any form of real estate were to go any sort of way, he's pretty much sinking on the water. Y'all remember a couple years ago when he came out with that one video talking about, I'm going bankrupt. Y'all remember when the market tanked a little bit, right? Some of us were like, hey, listen, wait a minute now. Wait a fucking minute. Are you for real going bankrupt? Like, what the fuck's going on here, bro? Are you for real going bankrupt? And then he came out a couple days later talking about, oh, shit, I was just kidding, right? But when the market had that little correction, what did we find out? A lot of commercial real estate properties, they were in trouble because that was a big bubble that popped that a lot of media weren't talking about. Oh, yes, commercial real estate bubble popped and everything was fucking crashing, dude. And he came out with that statement. So at any point in time, shit like that can happen. Just because the market is artificially inflated now doesn't mean it's going to keep being artificially inflated. So when they're mentioning Grant Cardone, when they're mentioning all these other sales gurus, these internet pushers, these manifestation vultures, right? Just know that they're all in the same cohort. Not in the same league as Bandman Kevo, because Bandman Kevo does the grimiest shit. So essentially, you'll find out exactly what car cracking is, and how he got to where he is. And I want y'all to also understand, basically, a lot of stuff that he's pushing, why a lot of you guys will not be successful with that message, especially to his level of success. So let's go ahead and continue.
Basically, your whole goal should be letting your assets should pay for your liabilities, basically. You know what I'm saying? So you know that you want to live in a very, very nice penthouse, but when it comes to paying these bills, why not just be smart? So I figured, let me go ahead and get an Airbnb first, learn the building real well, and then all the money that I'm making off the Airbnb, let it cover the penthouse. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, we just got to the point where he basically just said the way he's going to pay for those loans is the Airbnb. Airbnb realistically is not a stable market. It's really not a stable market, man, because you're dependent on people basically traveling around and doing things. And if we have another COVID-like situation, I mean, look how Airbnb took a hit during the last COVID situation. So listen, man, when people are telling you to do these kind of things, you got to understand, man, fast money comes with extremely slow consequences. And it ended up being slow consequences for somebody like Bandman Kevo, as you'll find out in just a second. But just keep in mind, man, when a lot of these guys preach this stuff, it's not for y'all, man, and y'all should take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt, because a lot has how they made money isn't how you're going to be making money in the future.
Or the down payment or whatever. Just don't, you can lock that money away. Don't even touch it. Act like it's not there. Whatever needs to be fixed. Make sure you always get insurance on whatever you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And just as far as credit, you can always move to the top, because credit is key. You know what I mean? That is what's going to get you your loans. That's what's going to get you low down payments and stuff like that. So
let me ask you this. So for somebody that, like for me, that I haven't been, like obviously I have a lot of loans, I have a lot of real estate, I own a lot of commercial, single family, shit like that. But for somebody that doesn't have a lot of credit, how do you start building? What's the fastest way to build your credit so you can get $1 million? And
so whatever. For instance, the fastest way to build your credit is knowing people who has high limit credit cards. This is I'm telling y'all a secret. High limit credit cards, meaning if you know somebody who have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 credit card, and they're willing to make you an authorized user on their credit card, you inherit their limit. So once you inherit their limit, that $300,000 credit 15-year history goes on your account. Or your credit line, and basically, after 2 weeks, Experian is going to update your credit, and then they're going to start recommending these cards as pre-approvals to your credit, and then you will apply for the same credit card that you borrowed from your friend that hit $300,000. You're going to get that credit card. So now it's like a free $300,000. That's why when people turn 18 years old,
that's a lie. That's also a fucking lie, dude. It's a lie, and it's not a lie at the same time. Okay, where the truth is, what he's describing is an authorized user. All right, an authorized user essentially if I have a better credit score than, say, let's say my brother, for example, right? If I have a higher credit score than my brother, and my brother is looking for a way to go ahead and get his credit score increased fast, okay, what he can do is I can add him as an authorized user on my credit card. So essentially, the bank creates a duplicate credit file for my brother, but it's under me. So then the same limit and everything is going to be attached to him, right? And then essentially, as he uses the card and makes the payment on time, his limit and his payment basically gets attributed to him. And then if I use the card and I make my payments on time, vice versa. So in that way, there's no win and there's no loss, right? But what this guy is talking about, he's basically seemed like, okay, well, if I end up giving my brother an authorized user access, right? And let's say my credit file is 100,000, I get 100,000 credit line, and he doesn't get a free 100,000 credit line by default. That's not how that works. The bank is still going to look at him and say, okay, listen, we have deeper calculations than, just what we see on the surface. For instance, our scoring method enables us to look at where your score is coming from. So based on this, we can see that you have zero credit history, but you do have authorized user access on there. So you're essentially what they call a thin file, all right? A credit thin file, where your credit's good, but you don't have anything concrete to really have them give you anything, any loan that's of any significance. You see what I'm saying? So they're not going to give you $100,000 in credit just because you are authorized on somebody else's account that has a $100,000 credit line. It just doesn't work that way. You still have to build your own credit. You will still know it as a thin file. So when he's trying to make that assumption, look at his fucking mouth, dog. Holy shit. Yo. Fuck. Oh my god. Hey, this nigga's nickname is Turtle Boy, bro. Because every single time, he's always licking his lips, bro. I don't know why. I just looked over. It's just like, damn, dog. Hey, but you wrong, dog. I'm serious. You wrong as hell. You can't be telling people like that's how it works. And why are you always using these big dollar amounts? You see how it's crazy? The deceptive thing is, like, he's pulling all these big numbers, 300,000, 400,000, right? All these penthouses and stuff like that. Like, all y'all who are going to be doing this are going to be getting access to big money like that. That's not how that happens. The bank isn't going to look at you and say, oh, this person just started out as a nothing score, all of a sudden authorized on the card that's $100,000, $300,000, and now I'm going to automatically afford them a $300,000 loan. That's not how that shit works, man. Like, if anything, it works backwards. Like, that person has to build it. So listen, man, when you guys are looking at this, just understand you got to take a lot of this shit with a grain of salt.
Their parents put them on a $500,000 credit card, and they basically gave them a free $500,000. It's generational wealth.
But you can also, like, you don't have to find somebody.
Generational debt, my nigga. What the fuck? What did you just say? What did you? No, bro. That's not how that works. That's generational debt. Like, listen, man. That's not how. Listen. Oh fuck, God. Like, that's not how that works. All right. That's not how that works. If you get a $300,000 line of credit, that's a line of credit. That's money that if you spend, you are spending the money in the future for today. That's what credit is. So when you do that, you better make sure you have a damn good plan on how that fucking money is going to flow around to get you more paper. Because if you don't, well, guess what? You're $300,000 in the hole, and it's not going to get any better. So when people are saying it's like it's generational wealth, this is why we're fucking broke. This is why our culture can't do shit, because people like him are looking at a debt as money, which actually doesn't faze me, because look at all these industry guys, these rappers, some of these athletes, a lot of these dudes, man, they live their life on credit. They live their life on borrowed time. All right, you're like, listen, man, that's not generational wealth. Please stop thinking like that. Any form of credit is money that you are basically sacrificing tomorrow in exchange for today. And if you don't have a plan on paying that back, you are going to be in very big trouble.
You can actually buy these.
Yes, sir.
So where can you buy this stuff?
So Tradeline Supply.
TradelineSupply.com.
Boost101.com. BoostCredit101.com. So it's different types of sites you can go to buy trade lines, but they will never be superly major. They'll probably go up to about 50,000 with 15-year history. But the secret is buy 3, 4 at one time. So if I buy 4 $50,000 trade lines with 15, 10, 11, 7-year history, it's all going to be one big payment. So that'll be $250,000, $300,000, including getting primaries, because trade lines fall off, primaries stick. Primaries are revolving lines of credit that report to your credit every month. Self is an app. You can download Self. You can sign up for myjewelersclub.com. You can sign up for Credit Strong. You can sign up for Shop Simeo. These are primary sites that report on your credit every single month.
So when he's talking about trade lines and primaries, I want you guys to understand this, because listen, when you talk about trade line is any line of basically any line of credit or debt that you have out there that is tied to your name. So it could be an auto loan, which is a secured form of debt, which is secured by the card that you have. A mortgage is another trade line. A line of credit, it's another trade line. Home equity line of credits, they're another trade line. Credit cards are trade lines, right? So when he's talking about trade lines, that's what it is. And they are actual sites out there where you can go online and actually purchase trade lines. And what he means by that, essentially someone with better credit works through a broker to basically sell you an authorized card or an authorized or something authorized that has to do with their trade line. And then you basically get to build the credit off of this. So when he's talking about you can go online and buy $50,000 worth of trade line each, that starts to get into the legal gray area, especially when he starts to talk about primaries, right? Because what a primary is like that means you yourself, instead of using an authorized user or third party to put on their card or put on their debt. Basically, a primary is you. So if you have a credit card, you are the primary owner, and you are the primary person on that debt that has to pay that back. So when he's talking about selling primaries and all those different things, there are downsides to that, because realistically, that's actually illegal. Like selling primaries, that's illegal. Like most banks right now are actually screening for that. And we'll see in a later video, which is when he goes on Fresh and Fit and starts talking about this stuff, because that was the second time that I saw him on there. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy talking what he's talking about, right? Because he talks about trade lines there, and he actually goes in to specify that. And we're going to break that down too, because it gets even crazier. But primaries, you are in charge of that loan. So if you're one of these dudes that are talking about trying to sell your shit or anything like that, just know that debt can only be transferred, and it's transferred through paperwork. Anything outside of that, if you're buying it on a fucking third-party site or anything like that, it is illegal, and you will get arrested. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This guy started off as a scammer. Okay, somehow is a rapper producer, and then all of a sudden now is on YouTube teaching all y'all how to be little scammers. So just be aware of what's going on. And when guys like us talk about Bandman Kevo, we're not hating, we're not doing all these stuff like that. We're just trying to keep you out of federal prison. That's just it. So we'll play a little bit more of this, and then we'll get into the Fresh and Fit video.
Mix a trade line and the primary together, you unstoppable. You know
so let's say I buy. Okay, so how much do these cost? If I get a $50,000, line for trade lines, what's that cost?
That'd be $1,900.
That's nothing. Okay, so I get 4 of those. Now I get primaries. I get primaries in the trade lines. So what do I do now?
So now
I get
okay, listen. Now
you will be over leveraged in debt. Like no financial institution that is like ethical will allow that to happen. Think about it. You think about it. You're an underwriter, all right, for a bank, right? And you see somebody whose income is let's say they're making $50,000 a year, but they got 5 trade lines. No, let's make it easier. They got 3 trade lines worth of debt. Okay, they're making $50,000 a year. They got 3 trade lines worth of $50,000 each. Okay, that's $150,000 worth of debt. And let's say they take the primary loan of a credit card for $10,000, right? They're making $50,000 a year. If you're an underwriter for a bank and someone brings you a credit profile where they're first of all, it's a thin file, meaning they used authorized to get their score to be where it is. And on top of that, they're over leveraged in debt, meaning they make $50,000 over $150,000 in debt and plus $10,000 in trade lines. Knowing that they're over what the income, the amount that they're bringing in, how many of you guys, in good faith, will actually give this person more money? I'll wait. Because no underwriter in the right mind will look at that kind of credit profile and not call like the fraud department. Like they would, because that shit does not look normal. They underwriters who wrote those loans, anyone who co-signed on any of these things will get in trouble. Like this is crazy that this person is out here just saying this shit, and this dude over here with the sunglasses is just co-signing everything, which makes no sense. And I think Spencer Cornelia alluded to the fact that this person, I forgot what his name was, but he is actually a real estate wholesaler. So this guy actually knows what the fuck he does, but he's not correcting Bandman Kevo on his dumbass goddamn statement. So it's like, what is this? And then you kind of look at the channel, right? Raphael is his name, right? And you see 15,000 subs, and then someone like Bandman Kevo almost over 500,000. So I mean, is this right here basically giving your followers false information on them going to prison worth the clout? Raphael, was it all worth it? Because that's what it seems like to me. You're willing to put your own audience in danger. And this is how they do it. I want you guys to pay close attention to how these guys do it, okay? The way they fucking do it is they start with all the fancy stuff. When they come online, they show you the chains, they show you the watch, they show you a lifestyle that you ought to buy into, that you want to be a part of, right? So they give you all this stuff, right? And you looking through that saying, hey, damn, I want to live vicariously through that. I want to go ahead and, I want to be rich. I don't want to work anymore, man. The man fucking sucks. Fuck all that shit. Let's go ahead and do it, right? So what ends up happening? Well, I'll let Bandman Kevo explain, because I had to, like I said, that There's video was the first time I heard of him, right? And I'm like, okay, he's on the radar right now. This is very interesting. Okay, he's saying all this stuff about mortgage. Somebody's gonna ruin your life. Somebody's gonna stop him. Hold on, real quick, Fresh and Fit. Right? I'm like, somebody's got to say something about this, right? At some point. So then the next time I saw him was on Fresh and Fit. Now, you guys know at that point in time, Fresh and Fit, they were still kind of on the up and up, right? But they didn't really have too many scandals that they were going through. Matter of fact, the majority of the YouTube community kind of fucked with them. We kind of fucked with them at that point in time, right? But then again, I saw this other video that kind of just like, I was just like, whoa, time to fuck out. That was the video right there. This one that I'm about to pull up for you that made me completely disillusioned me from the whole Fresh and Fit situation, right? Because that's when I started to realize that not only these guys are promoting scammers to their audience, right? These guys are just doing this shit for clout. They don't actually care about the people that they're working with right now. These guys don't give a fuck. And how I knew that was based off of this interview right here that Bandman Kevo did with Fresh and Fit, because I found it very eye-opening here. And I want you guys to pay attention, because the first one, he was talking about mortgage fraud. Now, this one, he kind of gets into the whole credit card aspect of it. And as you guys know, go back to my prior Fresh and Fit videos where I've actually mentioned Bandman Kevo this was the main video that I was mentioning. This was the main one I was alluding to, and we're gonna break this down step by step because this motherfucker, like literally, these motherfuckers allowed literally Bandman Kevo to come over here and spew pretty much trash and enable their audience to listen to a guy teaching them how to commit federal crimes. So just saying, we're gonna go ahead and play the video, and then y'all let me know.
And its reality is that if you know how to use it correctly and leverage it, it actually gets you a lot of things like you said before, where you can finesse the system and get assets without necessarily putting your own money down.
So the main thing is that you should actually be able to save your money in your banking account and use the credit to get ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if I want a house, they say 10% down. You get a house for 10%, and after you get the house, let's say if you Airbnb the house, you can Airbnb the house every day and let the house pay for itself. So let's say if the mortgage is $3,000. And if you get $3,000, $2,000 a day, depending on what type of home it is, let's say if it's a mansion in like Georgia or somewhere, it's cheap, right? $3,000 a day, you might be able to pay your rent up for the whole year. And the house is going to eventually pay for itself all off of credit. Now your money is still stacking in your account.
Yep.
There we go with the same Airbnb argument, man. He brought that back from the first video. That video was right before he came on here. He took that same mentality because Mr. Rafael Vargas over here did not correct him. All right, now he's over here on a larger platform. Now, mind you, at this time, this isn't when Fresh and Fit dudes started to dip a lot. All right, they were actually averaging 10,000 views per fucking live stream. Okay, and this man was basically saying the same fucking mortgage fraud to 10,000 young audience who were completely illiterate about finance. Like, this shit blew my mind how Fresh and Fit were sitting here co-signing the entire thing. No one, and mind you, Myron Gaines around this point in time said it was always talking about how he was going to buy his first property, right? Do y'all remember that? I don't know, maybe y'all, some of y'all stand boys, if you guys are in the building, maybe you guys are not. But do you guys remember when Myron would always talk about how he's always in the middle of buying a house and all this nonsense, right? This was around that time. So you mean to tell me that you going through the credit system, understanding how to get a mortgage, working with realtors who actually are knowledgeable in their craft, okay? You couldn't correct a man who's sitting here promoting fraud to your audience. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, the main goal is not to have to spend your banking account money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you use
money.
Exactly. You use credit, you use credit cards. You know what I mean? Like, just like, okay, I spend $110,000 a month in ads, but I can use my business card, my Gold business card, and they give cash back. So if I spend 100, really I only spent 50.
Yeah.
Damn. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you have to know these type of things to.
What's the cash back on that one? It's 2%.
I think it's like 3%, 4%.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Like,
I want to hold on. I'm gonna rewind that back. I want you guys to pay attention to what this fucker said.
Really, I only spent 50.
Yeah.
Damn. You get what I'm saying?
Hold on. I gotta rewind that back. I'm sorry. Watch what he says about this credit card, and we'll do the math and make sure that we all heard the same thing, okay? Because I caught this, and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I can't believe Fresh and Fit are condoning this shit. I'm done.
$3,000 a day, you might be able to pay your rent up for the whole year, and the house is going to eventually pay for itself all off of credit. Now your money is still stacking in your account.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, the main goal is not to have to spend your banking account money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you use
money.
Exactly. You use credit, you use credit cards. You know what I mean? Like, just like, okay, I spend $110,000 a month in ads, but I can use my business card, my Gold business card, and they give cash back. So if I spend 100, really I only spent 50.
Yeah. Damn.
Y'all, please tell me y'all caught that. $110,000 in credit, right? He uses $10,000. He spends it, all right, business credit card. He spends it on advertising, right? And he's saying because he gets, and he'll tell you his cash back, but he's saying that after he spends it, realistically, he's not even really spending the full $100,000 because of the cash back. He only spending 50. We'll see if the math adds up because he ends up admitting that he only gets 3% on that business cash back. What is 3% on $110,000? It's certainly not $50,000. It's not over $50,000. 3%. Y'all do the math in the goddamn chat because it's that easy. What is 3% of $110,000? Okay, while we're listening to this shit, because it's not $50,000.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you have to know these type of things to.
What's the cash back on that one?
Stupid.
Myron asked him what the cash back was. Now look he's got to really think here. He's got to really think and watch what he fucking says.
I think it's like 3%, 4%.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's real. That's.
I'm done, dog. I'm fucking done. What the fuck? 3% of $100,000. This man just said was over $50,000. What is in the chat right now for my mathematicians? Because I think it's like what, $3,100, $3,100 or $3,300, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. 3% of $110,000, and this guy just make the equivalent of that being over 50 G's. And Fresh and Fit sitting there like, oh wow, oh wow, dude. Oh, dude, man, fuck, that's wow, credit, man. You mean what? You don't just spend 100. What? Hey, man. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm just calling this shit out. Just don't blame me. I'm just calling this shit out. And your boys said nothing about it. 3% is not over $50,000. That's not how that shit works. And you can even look at the look on this goddamn tall boy face, and he can tell you everything that you need to know. He knew that, listen, what I just said, I don't even know what the fuck I just said. So if we're just going to keep it a fucking stack, bro, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy.
It's real good for cashback. Yeah. Man. So I'll say this. Can you tell us about leveraging credit to maybe put a down payment on a house in a little bit more detail? Because I know that's like a really fantastic way to get yourself into a home without necessarily having the capital in your own bank account.
I post a lot of stuff on my Kevo Fans, Kevo Connects, and OnlyFans about credit. So people be like, okay, what is the first step to start on, getting my credit up?
Yeah.
I always tell them that you should look at what's on your credit first, because you might have a lot of stuff that needs to be removed as far as old addresses, a lot of inquiries, a lot of people got student loans. So I feel like you should clean your credit first and then build it. And how you build it is by like trade lines, or if you know people who have money.
There we go. He's bringing that same old trade lines argument we saw in the previous video we just broke down. Meaning the bullshit he was spitting in the last video, he is bringing that same shit to Fresh and Fit. In this case, it's a larger platform where thousands of young men listen to this bullshit, and they all each are scamming their way to the top. So let's continue here.
Surround you with high limit credit cards, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 credit cards. You can ask to be an authorized user on their credit card. So let's say if you guys are friends and he got a $50,000 credit card, you're like, hey bro, can I pay you to be on your credit card for about 4 months? Now he will hear all your history. You get what I'm saying? Now that just shot your score up, and he's going to, like I said, 50,000. Now he can potentially get a $50,000 credit card because Experian is going to recommend him to a $50,000 credit card.
No, that's not how that works. That's what he's saying isn't true. What he's saying, that's not how that shit works, okay? Listen, just because you go ahead and buy a trade line from somebody else and somebody says, because listen, this is how it works, right? Because one of the websites he's talking about, it's one of these scammy type of website where if you want to go ahead and try to game the system or game the credit system, this is how you do it, right? So you go on these sites and you basically deal with the broker that deals with other people that want to make money on the side by leveraging their own credit, all right? So they'll sell their credit, and by making you an authorized user, you get the card. In this case, since what's different than the last example between me and my brother, instead of me giving my brother the card, I hold on to the card, right? The broker basically tells me how to basically manage my card. And I know this pretty well because I used to be in the credit repair business. In the credit repair business, you find people like that. You actually build a network of those type of people to be able to now basically, hey, listen, I want to be able to help this client out. This is how they want to be able to build their credit and get from point A to point B, right? And then you talk to them, and then what you do is actually you coach them on what to do, right? So these guys, essentially what they're doing is they're getting a monthly fee by lending their trade lines out. So then I'll give them directions on basically, hey, you make sure you do your monthly spending on this, whether it's gas, whether it's groceries or anything like that. Make sure you use this particular card. Now, while they're using that card for expenses that they would normally use it for anyways, while it's simultaneously building their credit, it's also helping my clients too as well raise their score. But in this case, they don't actually have access to the card, right? So that's selling trade lines. Now, the way we did it back in the day was literally, it was all through network, right? It was a big network because if you have a huge enough client base, you're able to say, okay, this person has this is where they need to go, so I'm gonna help them with this. But inside directly, I'm gonna be helping these guys over here, and you're bringing them together. Like I told y'all before, my best business acumen right now is basically becoming the middleman. I told you guys there are 3 types of business types, all right? There's a person that builds, right? That means like a Bill Gates type that starts something in the garage, or the Amazon type, Jeff Bezos, they can start something in the garage and build it to these multi-million-dollar things, but they don't necessarily have the tools tools to be able to run the company to the next step, right? So then comes the next business style, which is the executive, which I call like the Kevin Samuels types or like the Tim Cook types, all right, of Apple, right? Instead of him versus Steve Jobs, Tim Cook is not the entrepreneur type. He's a executive type that can basically work within the structure and make the make the company grow essentially. And then you got the middleman type of guys, right? The real estate agents, the financial advisors, right? Guys in sales, right? We're the middleman type of guys. And our business strategy where we excel well is bringing two different groups together and helping them succeed. That's basically it. Which group works better with this group and how can they succeed? And that's what we did within the networks. What this guy's talking about is an actual site, a website where you literally just go on and basically click through and see, oh yeah, let me buy this, let me buy that, let me buy this. And that's how that works, what he's talking about. And also what he ends up mixing it in with is primaries, selling primaries, which is actually illegal. That's the illegal part. And I'll break it down here for you guys.
Here's the question though. Will his credit take a ding by, or excuse me, if I'm the one with the good credit, right? Yes. And then I allow him to be an authorized user, will my credit take a ding by allowing him on?
No.
Okay.
So, on Tradeline Supply, they actually offer, this is another secret. On TradelineSupply.com, they actually allow you to sell your trade line. Mm-hmm. That's how people make thousands and thousands of dollars a month by going to Tradeline Supply saying, sell my trade line. Your trade line is basically your $50,000 credit card because that's how you can make money. People don't know that they can make money off having good credit. Good credit pays you in this world today.
Can you tell people what a trade line is? Because I know a lot of people might not know what that is.
Okay, a trade line is somebody else's credit history that you can actually purchase. So if somebody had a credit card since 2010 at $50,000, you can actually go purchase that limit and that credit limit. Well, on a website basically. Okay, that's all it really is. They call it a trade line, but it's really an authorized user.
Yo, you know what's funny? When I first came to America, right? I went on my aunt's credit score. Basically, she had like an 820, right?
Yeah.
I had no credit history. That boosted me up so much, bro. And then when I got off her credit line, literally I had like a 710 off rip after like 6-7 months. Crazy to me, bro.
So what? Another way that people, because trade lines, the credit bureau is starting to catch on to trade lines, right? So the credit bureau
pay attention to what he starts
primaries.
saying.
Have you ever heard of primaries?
Can you tell people what primaries?
Okay. So primaries are sites that sell things like, let's say Home Depot, right? Mm-hmm. They will have a membership fee. Like you become a member for $20 a month and buy stuff off my site. And in our favor, we will report $5,000 a month to your credit constantly for a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And that's called a primary because trade lines you buy and they only stick for like 3-4 months. They fall off. Unless it's your friend and he could take you off whenever. But if you're buying it off
So this is where I was talking about the biggest difference between the trade lines he's talking about. And you notice now he's starting to say primary lines because the primary lines is starting with, this is where you start to get some illegal bullshit, right? Because the trade lines, essentially, when you're going off of these websites and you're buying it, okay, the other person that has the good credit, they can choose to shut down their authorized usership at any point in time, all right? And when they shut it down, that means that they can remove the other person off the card and they're pretty much out on their own. All right, with primaries, it's going to be a little bit more permanent because essentially, remember what I said earlier, primaries means you're responsible for that particular type of debt, all right? So when someone is selling you a primary debt, all right, that means you're basically taking control. So it's a little bit harder for you to basically separate from that debt. All right, so it's a little bit more permanent. The problem is when you're going through these sites to sell primaries, they're often coupled with what's called CPMs. All right, and there's those personal credit profiles that are like pretty much fake social security numbers. Right, so they have those social security numbers that are fake, and they usually go hands in hand, and you basically create a whole new profile out of this shit. It's crazy how that shit works. But listen. I know I'm gonna break this down as best I could for you guys who are not necessarily into finance, but it's an ongoing scheme. A lot of these guys do within they actually really this is part of the shit that actually brought down a lot of credit repair businesses. Right? This is what y'all know that a lot of times credit repair businesses have bad reputations for scamming and doing all this stuff. This is the reason why. The shit that Bandman Kevo is preaching out here, this is the biggest reason why credit repair businesses usually have bad reputations. Is because they go into different fucking unethical ventures like this right here. So let's continue.
Right? They don't keep you on there that long.
So you're basically paying to rent a line
exactly
that has a higher limit. Is that for the sole purpose of maybe you're going to apply for some credit cards at that time?
This the only thing good trade lines are good for. when you know, because you got 2 to 3 weeks before they hit. So if you buy it and it hits, you go get your car, go get your home, or go get your credit card.
Right there and then.
Okay.
Because you don't really have too much time, because it's a site where if I give them my information and say, hey, y'all can add 10 people on my credit card, but I don't want them on there longer than 2 months or a month. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So they're going to pay me, and then the people take my credit or whatever, you know?
Gotcha.
So this is how it
That
works.
makes sense.
So, okay, so it basically allows the people a finite amount of time, typically shorter, to be able to go out there, apply for whatever they couldn't get before,
Yes.
and be able to get approved for a home.
Now, like I said,
whatever.
people are starting to catch, like everybody is like jumping on the trade line. So you mix primaries with trade lines.
Bam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you mix it up, it's just like, oh, you got this. Like you got a whole lot of different memberships, a whole lot of different trade lines. Some people just get one. I usually get 3, 4 trade lines.
Again, the reason why he's telling you that banks are catching on, because this is a well-known scam that people run. I even know people in the neighborhood that run this shit, man. People who have their own mini credit repair business that be doing this shit, they got busted up. So literally, listen, man, when you start gathering all these different trade lines, a bank's gonna know. And the reason why a bank's gonna know is because they're gonna pull your credit profile. And when they pull your credit profile and see like, hey, you got this history super quick, and you actually don't have any concrete history of you doing anything. Okay, and then how? Oh wait, you have this, and then this is it. They're gonna be onto your shit. That's why he's putting this fucking disclaimer on there. Okay, you listen. Selling primary trade lines. If you go online and go buy this stuff, right, without you applying it for yourself and doing it with your own credit, but doing that shit, it's illegal. Like it's against most financial institutions. Privacy policies and agreements, terms of agreements. You can't just go sell your credit card to somebody else for them to use with their own profile. That's illegal on so many levels. It's not even funny, but we have them on Fresh and Fit promoting this. Mr. DG456, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says, why is a former federal agent promoting scammers and potential fraud asking for a friend? That is facts, dog. That is so facts. That like the thing is with that, man, it's like, listen. I'm like, we know what Myron's all about. Like we know, Officer Myron, right? We know what he's all about, and then we also see guys like. To be honest with you, it's not just scammers like Bandman Kevo, right? He's also promoted guys like Mr. Organics, all right? Some guy that if you go past, and we've covered it here, he used to be a human trafficker, okay? And it's not me defamating his character or anything like that. We don't do that here on this channel, all right? You're just keeping it real. He said it himself that he was a coyote. I didn't call him a coyote. Listen, we played the video, how he went into detail on how he used to smuggle people across the border at Mexico. That's right, folks. A 6'6", 245-pound black man, all right, with a bunch of Hispanic people trying to come across the border and didn't get caught, not one bit. Listen, man, I may be slow, but I wasn't born yesterday. That's all I got to say. So that guy ends up on Fresh and Fit. And it's every single guy that's involved in some kind of like weird-ass, sus, fraudulent type of shit that either walks the line or is just downright fraud. They end up on those channels, right? Fresh and Fit, Adam 22, No Jumper, all these other guys, right? It seems like that side of the world just attracts the internet's degenerates. So I guess we know exactly where they congregate. But yeah, that is a really interesting question. Like, wait a minute now. Why is someone who's a former federal agent, promoting people who were like coyotes and scammers? Make it make sense. And on top of that, listen. What does, like I said this before, what does someone like Bandman Kevo, Mr. Organics, and Fresh Prince CEO have in common, all right? They were all rappers. All right? They all wear gold chains. They all drive Lamborghini Uruses. All right? I mean, listen, the similarities just doesn't stop there, all right? So it just keeps going, and it keeps going, and keeps going. But, yeah, that's a very interesting point. These guys are scam central, man. If you want to call it, y'all know, like, back in the day, back in the Mafia days when they were super heavy, and they used to contract these guys called Murder Inc., right? And it was just a group of crazy Irish dudes, right, who were, like, literally, they'd just get contracted out by the Mafias, and they'd go ahead and do hit. All right, they were, what do you call it? Murder Inc. is what they they nicknamed her, right? Now, in this case, on YouTube, a lot of these guys, knowing that their origins, they're exact same, right? We know Fresh is a rapper / producer who wears all the gold chains, drive the Lamborghini Urus, and they scam people out of that 100K party. Don't think motherfuckers forgot now. Y'all motherfuckers scam people out of that 100K party, and you fucking know it. So y'all are scammers, okay? Same thing with the Mr. Organics of the world, okay? Now, his scamming is a little under the radar. It's more like the whole my bookie kind of promotion and the whole fucking overpriced merch. But nevertheless, this motherfucker believes he's a rapper too as well. All right, so now we bring it back to Bandman Kevo. What do we see? The exact same thing. The gold chains, Lambo Urus. Oh, he hangs out with the Fresh and Fit crew. He's also a rapper. And guess what? He is known for scamming. So these motherfuckers all come from the same fucking background. So I'm not surprised they end up on the same show. And for the followers, listen to the same old bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all end up getting into some serious fucking trouble. So I understand, guys. I finally understand the financial shit that y'all was talking about, right? Remember, we would criticize them and they would say, well, at least Fresh and Fit, they bring on some good stuff, right? They're always teaching us about finance. Well, guess what? We found out about where this financial knowledge is coming from. And it turns out they're teaching y'all how to be low scammers. So let's continue a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and get to the next video on why this guy's a legitimate scammer. And he actually explains it himself on how he got busted scamming. We had a video of him getting arrested for that shit because he was trying to run away from the cops. We got you on that, homeboy. And we go ahead and break down a lot of the CPN stuff that he was doing and how that whole primary trade line plus CPNs coupled to one big disastrous crime that will land either his followers or y'all in a federal prison. So let's go ahead and continue here.
You know, along with going to get secure credit cards, because you can actually go in the bank if you got cash, $10,000 cash, just get a $10,000 credit card, and it's secure, so it's still your money, but it makes it look better to the person that's pulling your credit.
Yeah,
you know
have
mean?
that. So. And now with the primaries, is this like basically? I guess maybe it's a credit card that comes through, let's say like a jewelry company or a Macy's credit card or something like that. It's typically issued by some, I guess, retail store or something like that.
A lot of the primaries right now, like Shop Simplio or My Jewelers actually been up and down. They've been reporting and taking off and taking on and taking off.
I saw a video on that one.
Yeah, so the thing about you can actually go in there, sign up, and buy some jewelry, and they report $5,000. And it shot your point up. I mean, it shot your credit up at least 60 points. But a lot of people catching on to that. Then it was Credit Strong. A lot of people catching on to that. So they got a whole lot of primary sites that people don't know about. I was thinking like, man, if I come out with a site that you can sell something to somebody and build their credit at the same time, you're instantly probably gonna be a billionaire.
You would be busted for wire and bank fraud, dude. No, this man is literally just saying that I'm gonna have a site just filled with primary credit information and just sell it out to people to make money. That's what this guy just said. If I had that, I would do it. Motherfucker, if you had that, the feds would be busting down your door to take everything that they already took back in 2012. All right? You remember the case you had in 2012, and then it went all the way up to 2016, right? They gonna do the exact same thing. You start up a website like that. Selling primaries is illegal. The only way you can get out of a primary debt is if you transfer LA via bank. Okay, listen, and the kind of primary debt he's talking about are like Macy cards and all that stuff that report to your credit. It's kind of like store credit, which people can just apply under their name or apply under using CPNs and stuff like that, and then use that to try to build profiles. But you got to understand the lingo and what he's saying, right? The banks are catching up to a lot of shit that he's saying. There's a whole reason why they're updating their credit scoring systems, right? From the Vantage score to the FICO 8 systems, right? There's a reason why they're updating that, because they're trying to catch more of this shit that slips under the radar by these clowns promoting it. So that's what he's saying. If I could start a website and just sell people credit and build it at the same time, I'd be a billionaire. No, motherfucker, you'd be in prison. That's where you would be, dog. Like, it's crazy how, like, and you can just tell. You can absolutely tell that this guy has no idea what he's talking about. You can tell, right? So that was a video that kind of just made me like, yo, this Bandman Kevo guy, I mean, this guy is on some crazy shit, man. What is he talking about? Like, what in the hell is this? This man just basically advocated for people committing fraud on a massive platform, and nobody just called him out on it, right? And that's when you Pocket Watch It with DT, they were coming out videos on it. Spencer Cornelia came out with the video on it, but that was on the last video we just played, right? And then, so how did we, okay, so you said, okay, what are you talking about, man? Okay, you've broken out all this stuff. What makes Bandman Kevo an actual scammer, right? What makes him a scammer? Well, listen, I'll let him on DJ Vlad explain why he's an actual scammer.
school was a scam. You know, the stuff that I was learning, it wasn't benefiting me none at all in the world, in society. It was like a game. Like I was learning about people, old presidents, and like weird subjects that I didn't feel like my parents was older, right? So I'm like, none of the stuff that I'm learning right now is doing nothing for their life right now. So I'm not gonna do this, you know? So I feel like I should start learning things that, you know, that can actually get me rich. I was actually working. So I was learning how to make fake documents, and I was learning, like, I was really learning, like, mostly a lot of scam stuff before I really jumped in. So what I did.
So, by the way, those y'all motherfuckers listening to him now, some of y'all standboys that are probably going to be in the building, this motherfucker started out scamming. He started out living, breathing, just bathing in scamming, bro. His first gig was forging a fake high school diploma because he didn't graduate out of high school, all right? This is how he's ready to get around. And you give him A for ingenuity, all right? He's able to just kind of move around without doing shit. So you got to give him something for that, being able to maneuver the system without doing it the right way, right, the proper way. But just so you know, this guy didn't graduate high school, but his first start into the world was scamming. So if you guys don't take a lot of the shit that he's saying even afterwards, even on his platform right now, just let you know, he started out scamming y'all.
It was, you know, they got sites for fake high school diplomas and stuff like that. So I started working at a temp agency. And when I started working at the temp agency, I got in with the fake high school diploma. I was working there. I was working a few factories. And then after that, my checks was like $200-300 a week. I was working like crazy, bro. I'm like, man, this can't be the life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's when I started scamming. The first few scams, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't like scamming by myself. I met some people that was scamming, and I just like locked on to what they had going on. So really at the time, I was just passing information or cards to them people to make it go through. And then I started watching them to learn what they were doing so I could do it myself. Because nobody in this, even in 2021, is putting you on anything without you, either without the benefits, or you actually are going to have to pay them for their knowledge. You get what I'm saying? So I knew the person that I was dealing with wasn't just going to just show me how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. They would have had to eat off me, but they didn't know I was so smart to start learning earlier on. So when I started giving it to them, I'm hitting the person up that I'm like, look, for instance, let's say if it's a bank card. Okay, we was doing it for 20, 30, 40K at the time. I was figuring out what they were doing to actually make the money go on the account, and I was actually hitting up the account holder to see what was going on their end. So I knew.
So for those of you guys don't know, what he's explaining, his start into scamming was card cracking, okay? And for those guys who, let me know, put a 1 in the chat if you know what card cracking is, because it used to be a really big scam like 4 or 5 years ago, all right? So put a 1 in the chat if you know what card cracking is. If you don't, I'll explain it to you. Matter of fact, I'll have this, let me break it down in the preliminaries, and I'll let you guys know how it works, all right? So essentially what you do is you go ahead and find somebody who maybe is a little bit vulnerable, right? Typically, it's people who kind of want to make money or they want to get rich quick, right? And they'll see you with all your money and all those different things. And you go up to them, you say, "Hey, you want to make it quick cash? You want to be balling like I'm balling? All right, tell you what, all right, I got a shipment of money coming here soon, and just let me use your bank account, all right?" And then what they'll do is they'll write out fake checks, right? And it could be against any bullshit business or anything like that. It's a fake check, and they'll send you that fake check, all right, in exchange for your debit card or bank account information. And then you would take that fake check, or they take that fake check, and they deposit it on your behalf, or you deposit it on their behalf, right? And then the money goes into your bank account, and it sits for a couple of days, right? And what happens is, essentially, the bank is gonna read it as a check, but once the bank actually goes and tries to collect the money from wherever the scammer, like in this case Bandman Kevo, drew the check upon, right? Well, essentially, the money's not going to exist. So what's going to happen is the bank is going to then take the money back that they gave you or they credited you plus the fee because you wrote a bounce check, essentially, all right? But before all that happens, a day after they've actually put you in that situation where you've cashed that fake check, that bogus check, they go in with your bank card or your ATM or whatever, the ATM card or whatever it is, and they go to ATM and keep withdrawing all your money, all the money. So let's say they give you a check for $20,000 and you only had like $500 in your bank account, right? The $20,000 gets cleared by the bank into your bank account, and then what they do is while it's waiting, They go in and take out as much money using your ATM or bank card information, tricking you, making you believe that, hey, you can have whatever is left over, right? You can keep a little bit of the fee, and then you can keep going. But the truth is, they're drawing everything down. And by the time the bank finds out that the money actually isn't real, they'll take everything out of your bank account plus the fee, and sometimes they even leave some of these people with nothing. Bandman Kevo has scammed so many fucking people, it's not even funny. But don't let me just say this by myself. Let me go ahead and let you know. Let me let you know what this news company thinks about this whole situation. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna share this. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Okay.
It's called card cracking, and it is the latest scam. Criminals tricking people out of their debit cards, and so far millions of dollars as well. Consumer reporter Marilyn Moore shows us how they are using social media to pull this off.
This is one of the lures, pictures of wads of cash posted on Instagram, along with an offer to make fast cash.
If somebody asks you to make quick cash through social media and that they have a business deal for you, it's a scam.
A scam called card cracking or card popping. It's bank industry wide. Now USAA warns its members are targets. The come-ons can vary, but basically offer a cut of money they will deposit into your account. You just send your debit card, PIN, and login credentials.
They'll actually make deposits through the deposits that most banks offer right now of fake checks.
But before the check can be flagged as bogus, the scammer has your plastic.
Once they have your debit card in hand, what they do is actually pretty simple. They just go to the ATM machine and make a withdrawal. They get out the money, lots of money, only this time it's real.
And the target is on the hook for that withdrawal. While it may seem hard to believe, USAA's Tom Shaw says many people have been taken.
We have seen cases where an individual has been liable up to $20,000.
And that's not all. That person can also be considered complicit in committing a crime, bank fraud. The targets are typically young college students or young active duty military, people targeted by often fake social media profiles, this one using the picture of Nicki Minaj. If you are friended or followed and offered such a deal, report it.
I want you guys to pay attention to something, right? Because this is how they do it. They come on social media with this, with the money, with the fake lifestyle, right? And this is how they entice young people to try to buy into this scheme, right? In this case, they're card cracking people. They're trying to do this in exchange to get your banking information so then you can go ahead and basically cash a fraudulent check, or they can make fraudulent deposits on your behalf so they can withdraw it and leave you holding the bag. That's the problem. And that's what guys like Bandman Kevo were up to. This is what they were doing to young suspecting men. So what he's explaining right now on DJ Vlad is what you guys just saw. This, like, make no believe. We're not slandering. We're not saying anything. This guy's a scammer, dude. He scams people. Like, this is what it is. Like, we're all supposed to, like, sweep this under a rug. And we saw the little fucking back and forth he tried to have with Spencer Cornelia after Spencer Cornelia called him out. But it's like, why you calling him out for, bruh? You were a scammer. Like, you were literally born scamming, dog. You went into rapping, and then you came back, and now you're scamming people on YouTube by teaching them how to scam, right? And real scam for them is them ending up in prison by following your ideas and committing bank fraud, dog. That's just basically what it is. So I don't care what anybody says at this fucking point. This guy is a fucking scammer. No fucking ifs, ands, or whats about it.
So when I learned that, then I didn't need this guy no more. You get what I'm saying? Because when I found out, okay, how you do this, how you do that? Oh, you use this, you use that, you learn how to do this. And that's when I started learning how to make my own checks. That's when I started learning I learned everything about everything, you know?
Okay, but then in 2012, you caught a case.
Yeah.
And what did you get charged with at that point?
Okay, 2012, I caught a case. I got charged with bank fraud. It was through the state. And when I caught the case, it was kind of crazy because it was because I had a whole lot of cards on me at a Walmart out in Indiana, and I had got pulled over. It was a state case or whatever, and they told me my bond was $100,000. So I had the cash on me. Obviously, I bonded out for $10,000, and we was going back and forth. I paid my lawyer like $75,000. Long story short, he knew the judge, which, like I always talk about, I feel like the world is a scam in itself because, like, lawyers that know the judges and stuff like that, how easy you could beat cases. But I guess that at the time, like, when I beat the case, then the feds came and picked it up. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's state line, you know what I'm saying, usually the feds will come get it up.
So that, first of all, that whole thing where you thinking that you beat the case, that's not how that shit works, man. Because anything that has to do with money, that's a federal, that's anything that any crime that has to do with money, dude, that's a federal jurisdiction. That's under federal like that breach, okay? They investigate that shit. Matter of fact, if anything else, you can make the argument that the feds actually have way more fucking power that they actually need. Like, they overstep a lot of boundaries, including state lines, and one can make that argument. But the Fed pretty much covers a lot of stuff, especially if it goes across state lines. All right. So just because you got that false sense of security, beat a state case, the feds are on you, and their fucking conviction rate is up there. In this case, they convicted his dumbass, that's for sure. All right, and they convicted you on bank fraud. All right, so he got away with it on the state level, right? Because he was able to hire these lawyers. But federal is a little bit harder. All right, and them niggas don't play. They do not fucking play whatsoever. Listen, bro. Listen, you get yourself in federal crosshairs, it's a wrap for you, son. But let's continue.
When I found out that I was facing the Fed case, I'm just like, I got the same attitude. Like, I'm like, okay, well, shit, I beat the state case, I could beat the Fed case. You know what I'm saying? So I put up another like $60,000 on the Fed case. But when I had caught the state case,
the vital message, you got to know, like, listen, as long as you're a panel member, or you're someone that like you're actually part of the Duke and Don community, I don't care if you spam your channel. I actually want you guys to grow. So Poppy does that, Selfmade does that. Everyone, listen, man, if you're a panel member, you've been up here on the panel at least once or twice, you can promote your channel. This is a network channel. We want people to grow, people with great ideas, people with challenging ideas, people who are who want things to basically go back and forth. You're allowed to do that on this platform, man. So let's just go from there. All right, let's just leave it at that. So Poppy can do it. But listen, that's just how it works around here. So he's not doing anything crazy or anything like that. I actually let that happen.
The feds basically was investigating around that time, and then when they found my laptop and they took my cell phones away from me, they started digging more into more information. So this is why, like, when I was scamming, I should have knew this, which I knew better. As far as like with laptops and phones, a lot of people don't understand this. All the information that you have in your phone or in the laptop will never get deleted. Whatever site that you on, or whatever you put in your phone will forever stay there. So if the feds ever took your phone, it don't matter what you think got deleted, it didn't get deleted. So I was doing a whole lot of stuff.
Basically saying, listen, all your stuff, listen, the feds would dig. Look at what they did to Omi and the Hellcat, man. They got Omi and the Hellcat. They went through, got all the hard drives from his computer, got his phones, got everything, bro. That's what the feds do. They raid, they come in, they take everything, and they won't give it back, right? Because they are building a case. Lordy Guru 7, he says, Duke, everyone has a past. But let's be sure Bandman Kevo makes $2 million a month on OnlyFans. He's actually helping people out, and give him some credit, bro. I'm actually glad you said this, because as we go through here today, we're going to basically break down how that is not the case, and how basically him coming into the space and him preaching that manifestation stuff doesn't actually help people. Because again, the same thing with the Andrew Tates of the world and everything like that, when they preach, wealth and all that stuff. Andrew Tate came up basically pimping girls through OnlyFans webcam, right? Before OnlyFans was a thing. And now that OnlyFans is a thing and girls can do it without having guys trade them or do the fucking business structure, everything like that, they don't need guys to do that anymore. But he's still teaching you that business model. It's no different than guys who are doing Shopify and whatnot, right? So they'll teach you all the stuff about like Shopify and buy this master course and everything like that. But what they're not telling you, that Shopify is a dead business model. It's been dead for a long time now. Now they're just selling you courses. So some of the stuff that he's going to be telling you about, it's not anything that's relevant to even help people to start now. And some of the advice that is given people is actually wrong. It's stuff that actually would get them in trouble, and we'll break all of that down and more. So there's a specific way I like to structure these live streams, so just stay tuned, because you'll find out what I'm talking about in just a second. But I anticipated that, and I'm glad you brought that up.
So the reason why when I got caught in the 2012 case, they put that case along with some other stuff that they had found in the computer, in the laptop, to make a bigger case. And that's when 2014, I actually got charged by the feds for a federal case. I had got locked up, but since I never been in trouble ever, right, they had gave me a federal I-bond, right? So that means that if we're gonna let you out, but if you get in any kind of trouble, you're gonna have to pay this, and you ain't getting out at all. You still gonna get hit with a fine, and you gotta pay a fee. So I'm like, okay, cool, boom. So in 2016, that's when I got sentenced, and that's when I had to go to jail and do the time.
Okay, and I want to get into that whole story, but I'm just kind of setting the timeline here. So, so you caught a state case in 2012.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then I guess you started rapping in 2013?
Yeah. I became Bandman Kevo in 2013.
Okay. And then, you know, I mean, one of the big songs around that time was in 2014, the Baller and Me.
They got parts of the cars and shit. Damn.
They done took the wheels off the car.
They got y'all, man, Kevo Bandman, y'all. Oh. Up in the Maybach.
Damn.
So what you guys are seeing there is Bandman Kevo basically getting arrested. After he got pulled, this is when we're basically ready to catch him up, right? And we'll go into another video that he did, basically explaining up until this point. But essentially, as he was gonna get pulled over to get arrested, he fled from the cops and led him on a high-speed chase. And this is the video of them finally catching up to him in the Mercedes Maybach that he sped off in. And there's him, his accomplice, sitting on the grass right over there. And essentially, yeah, he was getting booked and getting arrested. This was back in, I think, 2012, 2013 or something like that. So it was definitely a while ago. But yeah, it's one of those things where those, there it is, right there. So he got arrested. And then there was a couple articles that came out about this too as well. And I'm going to pull that up for a second. And that way we can read that, right? And it basically goes over the charges that he went through, and then how they also got dropped, because to understand some of these charges were also bullshit too as well. And some of the cops, when they get you on something, they like to pile on with charges and shit. So let me go ahead and pull this up here really quick. All right, so here's the article here, right? And basically, it's how he got arrested again. But this is when they pulled him over from that truck, or not that truck, from the speeding incident, right? Chicago rapper Bandman Kevo busted on litany of charges, but not for scamming. So we're gonna go through some of the other charges that he got busted for, and they were trying to put on him, right? So Bandman Kevo gained infamy for his alleged involvement in bank fraud scheme, which had him facing up to 30 years behind bars back in 2014. Now the Chicago rapper is back in trouble with the law following an arrest in Miami Friday on June 4th. Kevo's real name, Kevin Ford, was booked in 5 separate charges ranging from gun possession by convicted felon using a firearm while committing a felony assault of a police officer, resisting arrest, and tampering with evidence, according to police reports. Rapper has since bonded out. So what's going on here, you guys got to understand this, right? What is happening here is that this was after he beat the state case. All right. And when the federal started putting heat on him, right? And then he started to get federal heat on him afterwards. Because when the state case dropped back in 2012, 2013, the feds picked it up. All right. They picked up the case and they kept running with it, and they tracked and followed him up until what is it, recently, was it 2016 or something like that? It was up until recently when they let's see when this was posted here. I gotta go to Instagram. 2016 is what it was when that happened. All right, so it was all the way in 2016 that the feds decided to book him and grab him and put him in jail, and this is when this happened. So this litany of charges that he's facing right now was due because of the chase, that high-speed chase he was involved with. So that's what's going on. So let's continue. In 2016, Ford was sentenced to serve 22 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to bank fraud scheme where conspirators used social media to advertise quick cash returns in exchange for debit cards and PIN numbers. Once obtained, they would deposit fraudulent checks into the accounts via ATMs and within hours withdraw the funds from the bogus checks at another ATM and repeat the process. Although card cracking and scamming have been more prevalent in the recent years, other rappers such as Sauce Walker are flipping the concept to benefit artists. In May, the Sauce Factory leader announced that he was partnered with a creative music group to create a card so they can do this stuff. So right then and there, right off the bat. So 22 months in prison, right? So actually, I want you guys to pay attention to this because this is also a big thing. A lot of guys in the music industry and a lot of guys just straight out from the streets, because this guy's from Chicago, all right? He's right there. He's done songs with Chief Keef. He's hood. He's as hood as you can get, okay? So essentially, right, pay attention to this 22 months, because a lot of people had a couple questions about the 22 months that he did, right? Because originally, Bandman Kevo was looking at what? He was looking at 30 years. After he getting caught at the feds, he was looking at 30 years, right? And people were like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute, Bandman, hold up. Something's not adding up, Bandman. You said that you were supposed to do 30 years, but you only did 22 months. How did you get away with that? Like, how did you get away with just doing 22 months? Like, it don't make no sense, bro. Like, how did you go from 30 to 22 months? That's less than a year. Like, bro. Hey, hold up, Bandman. Hey, Bandman, hold up. Stop the music. Bandman, did you snitch? Did you snitch, Bandman? And that's what people were basically accusing him of right now. Actually, that's one of the biggest accusations he's facing on the social media sites right now is the fact that, hey, Bandman, bro, you're supposed to be doing 30 years, but you only got out and now you got out doing 22 months. Did you snitch? And if so, who did you snitch on? And he to this day claims that he didn't snitch on nobody. I didn't rat nobody out. But then simultaneously, even back on the DJ Vlad interview that we just got done watching, right? He was basically saying, hey, I don't know why they were trying to make an example out of me, right? And I had all these other guys who were doing the exact same thing like I was doing, so I don't know how I got it, but I didn't snitch, though. Believe it or not, I didn't snitch on nobody. I did not snitch on anybody, okay? All right, listen, I just don't think it's fair that as a black man, you got all these other people out here, they're making examples out of them, but, they're not, listen, a black man got to do something different. Meanwhile, you got 22 years, and we try to figure out who the fuck you snitched on, right? So to this day, he pretty much screams at the top of his lungs that he did not snitch on anybody. Like, he basically went in, did his time, and that's it. Now, to a lot of people, that still doesn't fucking make any sense, because you were facing 30 years, and the feds, they have a high conviction rate. In this case, they had ample evidence that you committed the fraud. So unless they had a reason to make a deal with you, then I'm starting to lean on the fact that you may have probably snitched, dog. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because how the hell did you get away with that and only do less than a year, right? So that's basically what was happening. So essentially, this particular video came out, and he was doing on this podcast where he not only explained some of his crimes in slight detail, but also tries to explain the fact of why people think he snitched and why he didn't snitch. Now, the one thing with Bandman Kevo's explanations of this kind of stuff is that they're not really explanations. Like, he goes off into a tangent about race, right? That's what people like this do, right? They like to skirt off accountability and responsibility and blame it on something else that got nothing to do with them. And if you notice, he talks about everybody else versus the shit that he did and taking responsibility for it. So let's take a look here. And let me know if you guys can hear it, all right? And while we're playing this video, those of you guys who have the link, all right, I'm going to post a link up here too as well. If you have any commentary on this whatsoever, go ahead and come on up, all right? We'll do
I stopped working at McDonald's, and then I had got
Go ahead and come on up. I'll either post it, since it's sub-only mode, actually, we'll go ahead and post it in the chat. We'll post it in the chat, and we'll pin it so you guys see it and you can call in. Open show, people. Open show. Let's get it.
I worked at Walmart, and then after I worked at Walmart, I started working at a factory. You feel me? And when I stopped working at the factory, it's just like I said, man, I need to start doing something else. I need to start finessing or something. You feel me? And that's when I started, learning different shit to get ahead, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which they say it's illegal. You feel me? But they doing it to us. Just like you don't pay taxes, they take your taxes. You feel me? So I mean.
Guys, let's get the likes up. There's over 100 of you guys in there, only 60 likes. Come on, man. Really? Is this what we doing nowadays? This is what we do. We get a free show, and we're only getting 60 likes where there's 100 plus people watching. Let's get the likes up, people. Come on. Likes are free, so's the show. Hit the like button. Let's go. Let's get it, guys. Show the appreciation, all right? Even though if you're not going to hit the like button, why watch? No, real talk, real talk. Let's stop the show for a second. Stop the show. Stop the show. Let me ask this. If you're not going to hit the like button, which is as simple as hitting a button, right? Why watch the show? Like, just don't watch. It doesn't make any sense. You're watching the show. It's free. There's time being spent. There are people in the chat who are conversing and things like that. Just hit the like button if you like watching what you see. Guys, the show is free. So is that button click. That's all you have to do. So let's go ahead and get the likes up to at least how many people are watching the show, all right? This is a back-to-back breakdown on Bandman Kevo from start to finish, guys, all right? Not a lot of sites out here or even content creators out there on YouTube has put it together as we're putting it together for you right now, all right? So the least you can do is at least get the likes up, all right? Let's get the likes up because likes are free, and so is this show, and we're going to keep doing what we can to make it free for you guys, but it's got to be a two-way streak. We got to get the likes up, guys. Tit for tat. We got to give yin for yang, all right? So let's get back to it, people.
That's how I just look at it. Like, the rules is not made by God, it's made by the government. You feel me? So it's like, it is what it is, how life work, you know?
Yeah. So did you start hustling and then rapping, or was you rapping before that?
No, I was hustling first. Okay, look, I started seeing people rapping and wasn't hustling, and it wasn't really, so I was just like, I might as well just get the money first and then start, you know, exactly, because rapping is a business, it's a career, you feel me? Yeah. So I was just like, let me start hustling, then start rapping, because it's like going to get a building with no money, almost, you feel me? So it's just like, let me get this money, and then I'll be able to maneuver how I want to and get that image I'm looking for in the city, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now hustling, is that selling drugs? What is that? Is that robbing people? Like, what exactly is hustling?
Hustling is whatever, however you get it, bro. You can rob people, sell drugs, you can, I know niggas that hustle bitches. Like, you can hustle women, you know what I mean? You can get with fat hoes and live with them and get their link cards, and, you know what I mean? It's just different ways of hustling. Like, I don't knock nobody hustle, bro, you feel me? Like, however you gonna hustle, that's how you get it, you know what I mean? Like, niggas got all types of ways. My hustles, when I was doing what I was doing, you feel me? The reason why I'm going to jail, because I was taking from these banks, bro, because the banks take from us, you feel me? It was like, shit, I gotta get it how I get it, bro, you know?
You guys notice how he just skirts off accountability. I scammed. And the reason why I scammed is because I was taking money from banks, and you know how banks be scamming, all right? So that's the reason why I stole from the banks, is because banks are on some bullshit, all right? So that's the reason why I did it, okay? Just saying. That is no fucking excuse, bro. You said it on previous. I'm glad we played other podcasts before, other videos before we played this one, because the way you explained it on DJ Vlad, okay, the Fed himself, if you can call anybody a Fed, I would call DJ Vlad a Fed. So in a way, you kind of snitched on people. But anyways, all right, you basically talked about how the reason why you did it is because you didn't want to be a 9-to-5 dude. Matter of fact, you scammed to get yourself into a 9-to-5 job. All right, you wanted the easy way out. You wanted the fast money, the fast life. Stop sitting there talking about, oh, I scammed the banks because you're some kind of gangster Robin Hood, nigga. That don't work like that. It wasn't even the banks you were scamming. All right, the overdraft fees were hit against the people you drew the account on. Like that's what it is. So the overdraft fees on those guys, they took the hit. The guys that you wrote the bounce checks on, the $12,000 dude that you ran into, that you were talking about in that live stream that you were talking about, dude, how you scammed that dude out of $12,000 and you ran into him and he was scared of you, right? Or you said he was scared of you. Bruh, you hurt people. That's what you did. Like, you can't fucking change it up to be some kind of a modern-day Robin Hood, dog. You stole from people, not from banks. People. Like, this is crazy to me. I'm going to play a little bit of this, and I want to get you guys' opinion hopping in here. What's good, fellas?
Okay, now before we get into that, I actually live in Texas, and pimping is like the #1 hustle. Like, exactly. I mean, trapping is too. That's everywhere. That's worldwide. But pimping is really strong in Houston. Dallas too.
Vegas too.
Is that strong out here or no?
Yeah, that's the
It seems like the females out here are a little bit more aggressive. They won't let y'all control them like that.
I don't know, bro. It's different ways of how you coming at a girl in Chicago versus y'all coming at them. They're aggressive, but they still, not all women, but they still are dumb. You get what I mean? Like, you could talk a bitch out of anything. You can make a bitch go get good credit to get you a car. You can make her sign this, do this, give this. You feel me? So, like I say, that's a hustle by itself. If you just, I know niggas, they got like 10 bitches, bro, and they just running it up on them hoes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different ways how you got to get it out.
Hey, you manosphere guys that don't believe that chicks would do shit for broke guys. All right, broke guys with that hustle mentality. There you go, right there. Listen, it don't matter if you're broke, as long as you can hustle, they'll let you scam them and live off of them.
I'm seeing the drug dealers make this type of money, and I'm seeing I'm looking for the bigger picture, like I told you. So when you weigh your options, you like, okay, they're giving more time over here for this, and they're giving less time over here for this, but you get more money over here. Right. You feel me? So I'm just like, I need to lean over there because I know all these white people doing this. Why they doing this? Oh, because it's paying more money, and if you know how to play your cards right, you damn near wouldn't even get caught. You feel me? Like, not saying that I'm still doing it. I ain't doing it, but I'm just saying it's still white people that's doing it. Just like motherfucker just rob. I mean,
race deflect. Let's deflect to the white people doing it, but the white people do it too. I know I scam, but the white folks do it too. Okay, it's just not me. The white folks be scamming too. So I'm just stealing from the white folks. That's all the way I see it. Okay, I'm the modern day Robin Hood.
They just got Wells Fargo for $123 million, and they only got fired. Right. Why I'm going to jail? You feel me?
You see how he's throwing other people under the bus? Now, we don't know, to be fair, if this is DJ Vlad. I don't know who the hell he's talking to. But how he's casually throwing other people, kind of like what Omi did when he got caught with the media, right? Y'all remember what Omi did? Like, hey, how am I getting hit with this credit, this whole copyright infringement? Why not all these other dudes making millions of dollars? Why don't you catch them too? This nigga's on the same bullshit, bro. I'm telling you, these scammers think the exact same way, bro. It's not even funny. We'll let this go for a little bit, and I'll let the panel get involved, man, because this shit's getting ridiculous, man.
Like, come on, G. It don't make no. I'm going to jail for this little weak ass. Motherfuckers got away with 123 million, and they just got fired.
So did you teach yourself how to do it, or was it like somebody who like showed you the game on how to do the bank shit?
Really, bro, I'm gonna tell you like this. As far as this, is why when you go to jail, they don't want you on the internet. They don't want you on the internet because the internet teaches you everything. You feel me? But you got to be that person to research. Just like you got to know what's going on around you in life. As far as they put shit in our food, you're not drinking regular water. Like, you'll go buy the most expensive water, it still ain't A1 water. Like, if you really
saying everything else but answering the damn question, bro.
want to know that shit brown, really. You feel me? Like, everything is designed for money. They don't really care about us. You get what I'm saying?
Blame the water and the government because they don't care about black folks. That has nothing to do with why you scamming niggas, but blame the water and government.
So they out here to make money. You got to be the same way in America. You got to be trying to make money. That's your only option, really. You feel me?
Right. So I read this probably 2 years ago when you got caught up and shit. It was probably like what, a team of y'all, or was it?
No, look. See, this the thing. It happened in 2012. Okay. You feel me? It was a state case. I beat the state case. And it got raised to a federal case in 2014. You get what I'm saying? So they was trying to watch me, hoping that I'll make a mistake or some dumb shit. You feel me? But I was doing music. I wasn't on that no more. You feel me? So they was basically like, okay, cool. 2014, we coming to get his ass because he's shining too hard. I've been going crazy since 2009, bro. It's about to be 2017. Yeah. You feel me? I'm just not going to jail. Yeah. So, like, basically, a great lawyer. You feel me? So it could have been more time because you know how they want to see us locked up anyways. You feel me? For anything. Look how they giving drug dealers. Y'all put drugs out here. Y'all get niggas 30 years for selling y'all drugs. Ain't that backwards, bro?
Now, when you fought the state case, how long was you facing it?
Oh, they was trying to give me 10 years. Yeah, they was trying to give me 10 years. It was in Plymouth, Indiana. They was trying to give me 10 years. And my lawyer was on their ass, bro. I'm talking about all police. They didn't have proper cause to pull me over. You feel me?
But did you snitch, though? Like, that's what we want to know. How'd you go from 30 years to 22 months? Like, I want to know because you were definitely busted. You were one of the biggest scammers out there. So how did you get away with it, dog?
They just turned on their lights and then came and made us get out the car and did all types of shit that they didn't supposed to do. So the feds was coming back and forth to court, you feel me? And seeing that, they just stopped it. They just threw that out. Then 2014 came. More matter of fact, 2012, they came and took everything from me. My Maserati, all my clothes, bro. I'm talking about, when I tell you these folks took my shoes, bro. Like, I had like 100 pair of shoes. They took all my shoes, all my Gucci shoes, all my jewelry. This was in 2012. That's why people they reading the article now because the feds are showing them what happened in 2012. But people confused, like, damn, this just happened. Like, how is he still out here doing this and doing that? It's an old case, bro. You feel me? Money been keeping that nigga out.
When they took all your shit, did they give you back?
Hell no. They don't give they sold that shit. They sold that shit in 2012, bro. 2014, they came and was salty about the crib. Nigga paying $4,800 a month. You feel me? In 2014, like, basically they was mad because I'm treating it like I don't got this case hovering above my head and I'm still out here. You feel me? They don't want that. They don't want you to be living good. Like, Like, nigga, you going to jail type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how they want you to be depressed and stressed out that they got you under pressure and you still living above. You know, because they felt like, oh, I'm come take everything, and maybe this dumbass might stop trying to rap and probably go back to a 9 to 5. You feel me?
So, like, how did they crack down on you? Was it like people?
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you how I got caught. I got caught because I was in Walmart. Now, I wasn't real humble in 2012. You feel me? I had like $450,000 cash on me type shit.
Wait, hold on.
I'm in Walmart at 3 a.m.
He's real humble, or he's not real humble. He's got $450,000 in cash, but he's in Walmart. Make it make sense.
The reason why is because they got to use the ATMs, and he got busted with a shit ton of cards. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, what happened to them Nordstrom cards? Right? I know they got cards.
I mean, he's wearing Gucci. Like he said, he got all his Gucci shoes taken. If you got a whole rack full of Gucci shoes, you're not shopping at Walmart. That's just not how it works.
I'm telling you. But we're about to see how he got caught, and I'm just playing up to that part so you guys understand what like how he basically got himself caught up, and then we'll basically cover this whole thing. But go ahead.
Some dumb shit, you feel me? And the lady called the police in Walmart trying to say like, this guy. Okay, I bought a pack of T-shirts and some boxes. You feel me? So when I now the lady was already acting racist. It's 3 in the morning. You feel me? So I up that wide on her, like, shorty, stop playing. You gonna be working here for the rest of your life. You feel me? Like, I'm showing her, you know how like a person gets. So I go to the ATM after that. She called the police and told the police that I just hacked it. Like I did some dumb shit to the ATM. Basically, like she made it seem like I just took all the money out the ATM. You feel me? So I'm just like, so when
this was 2012.
Yeah, this like 2011, 2012 type shit. So on my way walking out, I see a whole damn police station come up in a Walmart. I'm like, damn, I go to the car. Me and my homie, we pull off, boom. Now all the police is behind us. I'm like, damn, why the police behind us? You feel me? So they stopped and they did. That's basically how I got caught, basically. Just a little dumb mistake out in a real racist town. I was like, out at 3 in the morning, I was like, in Plymouth, Indiana, bro. I'm talking about where they probably hang motherfuckers, you feel me? That's basically how I got bumped, bro. Like, that little dumb thing made first of all, you had too much cash on you, and it made them folks look into you because this nigga got a Maserati, he got this, and he don't work no job. He don't pay no tax. Like, you gotta. But
you guys hear what he almost said? He almost said, "Hey, no job, don't pay no tax." What are you gonna say? Taxes, motherfucking taxes.
Dude, what was it?
Hold on, let me let it up to the panel. Let me get the panel up here. What's good, fellas? What is good? Welcome. I appreciate y'all being here right now. All right, let me go ahead and get the shout out to y'all. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts going on with this?
Well, he used Maserati and Walmart parking lot in the same sentence. You can't put those in the same sentence. It doesn't work. Like Maserati, Walmart parking lot, they don't go together.
That's facts. That's facts, man. But like, I don't know. That's the thing with guys like Bandman Kevo, man. And here's the thing, man. Because a lot of these guys, what they try to do, like I say, I call them manifestation vultures for a reason, right? And even with the card scamming thing, this guy was known for and how he popped out on the scene, right? The basic premise of it is pretending that you have a lot of money, right? So you can con the other guys into the lifestyle that you want. So then you could trick them into getting their debit card and banking information. So then once you do have their banking information, you can go ahead and use that to go ahead and run that whole fraudulent scheme. It's no different from him taking that and then moving that onto YouTube. That's exactly what it did. And the money he got from scamming, hey, the whole rap shit that he did is the exact same nonsense, bruh. Like, this dude hasn't changed. And we saw his evolution from scamming to rapper to getting on YouTube. And what does he do when he gets on YouTube? He perpetuates the same thing. Only this time, he's not doing it himself. He's teaching other guys how. I can't, dog. Like, I can't believe people are sitting there and listening to it. But it's also a dangerous thing because it shows you how uneducated people are when it comes to finance, at least basic level finance.
Hey, we're just auto insurance.
Anybody could add to it, man. Canisius, welcome to the stream, brother.
Thanks, man. Good to be on here. Yeah, one thing I noticed about a lot of these guys that are promoting finance on there, they don't really talk about how credit and stuff works. And then instead of talking about the entry level things for people like are building their credit, like buying a secured card and maybe like slowly adding cards to your wallet. They'd say, no, you gotta be 700 tomorrow. You gotta do this risky thing. Like
there was something he said on Fresh and Fit where when he was talking about adding an authorized user, and then Myron was like, well, how long does it take? He's like, oh, about 2 weeks. I'm like, what? No, it does not take fucking 2 weeks for your credit to go that. That's not how that shit works. We see that they get it now kind of mentality that has infected a lot of society nowadays. It's crazy to me. But go ahead.
Yeah,
that's take it over.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
It's just the functional, like if you take like the like kind of the purpose of credit is to show how trustworthy a person is to pay back debt, and you're not going to build that in 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I did a little standalone podcast on this, how to get an 800 credit score. It's not that hard. It takes hard work and it takes time, and you have to take the right steps. And there's things that you can do to help yourself along the way. But at the end of the day, there's no magic shortcut to getting an 800 credit score. Like, you're going to have established credit for at least 5 to 10 years to get up there. That's just part of the equation, and it's a big part of the equation. And then the other thing they look at is, do you make your payments on time? That's like, I don't remember, 50-60% of the equation is your credit history over a length of time.
It's actually 50% in terms of payment history is the 50%, right? Payment history, credit, your credit, length of credit, and then the different types of credit, right? The types of account, the types of trade lines. So essentially,
and your utilization, and you gotta educate yourself on this. There's not one magic thing. There's not, and then there's multiple agencies that look at your credit score, right? So you could have 2 or 3 different credit scores depending on which bureau you're going through. It's not like, oh, hey, I went and bought this line of credit or got on as an authorized user. And who the hell would pay thousands of dollars to be an authorized user? Like, you have somebody in your life that that's close to you that probably has good credit. If you're like just starting out, go talk to them, see what they can do to help you out. Like, don't pay somebody money.
The one thing I'll push back against is just that, especially working from the subprime business, right, in terms of car business, right, a lot of people don't have family, because that was the first thing that we'll look for, right? Because when you guys got to understand, there's 5 C's, all right? The 5 C's to credit is because when it comes down to a lender, the underwriter realistically is the main one that decides if you get the loan or not. They look at the 5 C's. So when guys like Bandman Kevo make it seem it's all about the credit score, it's really not. There's character, there's capacity, there's the kind of capital that you're going to be able to pay, which is AKA the down payment that you put down, right? There's collateral, meaning that, hey, if I'm going to go ahead and buy this car, well, the collateral is going to be that car. So if I don't make my payments, they can come take that car. That's collateral. And then you also have conditions, meaning the type of the loan, the style, and different things like that, right? So when someone comes in and sit down and they're looking for a loan and their credit's shit, the first thing we ask is if they have anyone else, their sister or brother that can co-sign, or someone else who you can go ahead and do it. And a lot of times those guys don't. So that's where I would see guys going through like credit repair networks, right? Because you remember, Oxford Finance was my credit repair business that I had at the time. So that was a thing that I had running, and like you can find your own network where you say, hey, listen, so let's say I have a client that's a little further ahead on the credit program. All right, their credit's up there, and they're able to get better trade lines, and I'll say, hey, in order to help you out, let's go ahead and make you an authorized user, and then kind of work with them and say, hey, you're going to be helping this person out, but then they're going to be growing on this end, but you're not going to give them the card. You're just going to take that particular card that's going to be under their information, and then you're going to make that payments on it. At any point in time, listen, Mr. Customer, you can stop at any time. Just call your bank and say, hey, I want this guy removed as authorized user, and go from there. Now, the difference in that's legal. What he's talking about, mixing up with the primary sales,
that's shady. That's
illegal.
Shady stuff. Yeah.
That should have get you locked up, because you can't. A primary on a loan, meaning you are responsible. You're the main one. Primal, you can't sell me your car loan. You can't just go and say, dude,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah,
I'll give you my car as long as you make that payment for me. I have to go to the bank with you, and I got to transfer that debt over to me under my name. So that's the big issue. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just want to
and I shout out to, I saw, is it Sarah? Is it Sarah? I saw her parents put her as an authorized user. Let's say maybe you're not where you want to be, but you want to start building generational wealth. try to get yourself to somewhere that you do want to be. And then when your kids are coming up, you can help them out, right? So big shout out to that, and shout out to our parents.
Well, that's a good way to like build your credit to start off, or like have a if you've got a family member there that wants to help you build. Like,
well, what's very common is that,
but
what's very common is that folks, especially let's say your kid's going to college, and they're gonna need a salary if their kid's not gonna work. So what you could do is you can get them a card,
secure
in
card,
their name with the credit limit that you co-sign for, and you can pay that. So you could pay it a monthly, and it could be $500, it could be $600. But the idea is that you're paying that on time, and they're building credit. And in 4 years, when they get out, they haven't amassed a lot of debt to eat or things of that nature. You've also controlled their budget. Hopefully, they'll learn how to budget, because they're only going to have maybe $500 a month, which sounds like a lot of money until you're eating food in San Francisco, and then when 4 years after that they get off, they have. Now, they're not going to have an 800 credit score, but they could have 650, 700, and they could be on their way to having a more stable credit life. The only thing that I don't like about Bandman Kevo, because I can tell you, when I look at this shit, I just laugh. I'm like, okay, anybody believes this, you kind of deserve what you get.
That's what I always say.
I mean, you got to be honest. Like, I mean, it's we can't go around and raise the world. It's not our fault that people's parents didn't tell them that scams were out there. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm just a little cynical, because you could tell somebody the right thing, and if it don't sound like what they want to hear, they're gonna tell you you're full of shit anyway. And so, but what I don't like is when he starts talking about generational wealth, because any time that you spend trying to build any type of generational wealth, you don't really have a lot of time to do that if you're at the starting point. So he doesn't say, hey, why doesn't everybody get life insurance on your generation and have the life insurance go to a trust, and that trust can be the next generation's seed. That's what me and my family did. They don't do stuff like that. What they say is like, oh, let's get this credit card and this. Or what? It sounded like such bullshit. I had to stop listening to it, because it sounds like federal jail. And so,
well, it's the get rich quick type of nonsense, man, and that's the stuff that we preach against, right? The Mr. Organics, the Bandman Kevos, the Fresh and Fits, right? This is what we preach about. They make this stuff sound so easy, and it's really not. It's just like, okay, it's simple, not easy. Okay, they're two different things. Okay, easy meaning you can effortlessly get there. Simple meaning the work is laid out in front of you, and you just have to follow the process. All right, it's simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to follow the process, and sometimes that takes a lot of work. Okay, so what these guys do is they pitch it as if it's easy. They get you with this lifestyle. They get you with the chains, the cash, right? Why do you think these guys can't leave nowhere without wearing their chains? Listen, I finally borrowed it. I borrowed my chain, so we're ready to do the show. But like these guys that wear the chains, they can't go nowhere without looking like very flashy or looking like they got money. It's because that's part of the hustle. That's all part of the gimmick. Because if they dress like that, they can look at some poor, unsuspecting soul and say, hey, look, I want that. I want the way that person looks. I like the way that styles. I like the car. He's driving a Maserati. Holy fucking shit. Like, I want that too. So then what they're going to do is say, hey, buddy, how'd you get that? Like, what do you do? Oh, hey, let me get your debit card information. And then you'll get $20,000 in your bank account plus a cut.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's kind of like,
well, I think he brought a good point earlier, though, Duke, that like I don't get the them. They're selling credit as if like if you have high credit, you're suddenly wealthy or something. Because you could have an 800 credit score and work it and have a McDonald's salary, and no one's going to lend to you with that McDonald's salary because you realistically cannot pay it back.
That's
so credit is not wealth. Like it's kind of, they're selling it as if, oh, once you have that credit, you're on track to become a millionaire.
That's an excellent point. And you see this in the manosphere a lot too. Like you guys would agree. Yeah. Go ahead, Grover.
Well, I was going to say, Caduceus, it just leaves it open for that person to now start lying on his applications just about his income. I mean, look, it's all connected to BS. And
yeah, but I mean, if you're trying to buy a house and get into real estate, you're gonna have to show some pay stubs probably, or a W-2.
I think it's like a year or two's worth.
Yeah, you gotta show.
They really did lock your shit down. Like there's a lot to get a mortgage, and you notice how this guy is pitching it, right? Oh, you get one down for 3%, and then with that 3% down, you get $300,000. Okay, and then you get 4 more loans for 3%.
Yeah, like I heard it so crazy to the point where if you're a 1099, it's a pain in the ass to like bring up all your income.
Yes. It is. It's not for you. You got to in 1099. Actually, 1099. You got to prove a lot. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur type, there's a lot more. You got to do like a 2 or 3 solid years of you making solid fucking income, dude. Like your income, it can't deviate, it can't waver. Like even guys who are 9 to 5, this is where they have it better than those guys, right?
I heard it I was working in the hospital and the ER docs that I was working with, they're 1099s because they contract with the hospital. And they were talking, at least this group did it that way.
Yeah.
Where they weren't
most
employed
physician
by the
groups
hospital.
are independent of the hospital. A lot of them.
Yeah,
are part of the
Primal
group,
was in that field. So
yeah. So
well, they were 1099, but they just kept talking about, oh, I want to buy this house, but they just not getting back to me on my income, and they're not telling me like what they need. They're just frustrated the whole time. And they were making like
they make 250.
They make in California probably
in California
400,
more.
probably 400 or 500K.
Yeah.
And they still were having trouble.
But Caduceus,
And
what does
I'll
that
tell you,
say,
like,
though? Hold on. Caduceus and Primal, hang on. What does that say, though? It shows that the banks are not playing when it comes to risk. Like, that's the main thing. Like, they don't play when it comes to assessing risk, man. Matter of fact, that's what they spend billions of dollars on to make sure that they can mitigate the risk that they have. That's why they come out with these scoring systems, the Fantes, the FICOs, all these different types of scoring systems to see how good of a credit file you are. So when you have guys like that running these kind of schemes that are trying to artificially inflate what your credit score looks like, of course the banks are going to catch up to it. Go ahead, Primal.
I was just going to say, like, they legit are cracking down, because the last time I went for a house, and I have kind of a regular, solid hours, 10-9, like regular W-2 job, and they wanted my last 6 pay stubs, so 3 months worth just to show them. And I mean, they're not playing, and that's like a normal job. Hell, let alone a 1099. I don't even want to play that game.
No, it's not.
What's
your thoughts? Let me just get this chat. Go ahead, Grover. Go ahead.
Well, it's just that the rules that they're living by, that they're trying to convince people, is that what was actually a reality in 2004 to 2007, where you could have a profile and get a house with a below market rate, and but with
ninja loans.
Yeah, and so
no income, no job. Get approved, baby.
27%
You don't need anything.
No money down.
They were telling you actually that you could sign, and they're gonna give you $50,000 upon signing, because you're gonna actually get a loan for more than what the house is. And I remember someone trying to pitch a house to me like that, and I was like, I got credit and a down payment. Why do I need to do that? But people were incentivized to do that. So I understand where they get this BS from, but they're living in a land of yesterday and not a land of today, where you have to have a strong credit profile.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if I.
And back then, no, you're right. Back then they had those adjustable rate mortgage loans too that end up beating that was the thing that kicked a lot of people's ass, because then they'll sign up for low interest rates, but then not realizing that with those adjustable interest loans, like if the market were to tank or change any sort of way, that rate's going up, and that's what happened with the housing crisis, right? A lot of people got these adjustable rate mortgages, and the interest rates skyrocketed, and they end up being pretty much defaulting on all their houses. Some got 2, 3, 4 houses to pop, which was crazy to me that it was that nuts. But that was a whole real estate bubble back in 2008 and everything, when everything popped. And this dude is trying to take all that nonsense, because this was 2012. This wasn't that far removed from that era, right? So banks were still trying to clean up, the credit system, the reporting system, to the point where it is right now. And a lot of people didn't get away with it. So that's when we're talking about that young man who put up that comment saying, hey, that was his past. You can't blame a man for his past and give him accomplishments. Listen, I respect the hustle about it, man. You can't knock the hustle, right? Nobody can. But realistically, even till today, he's preaching method that will land his audience and people like you who follow that shit in federal prison. Because you can't, listen, a 3% loan down with some of these programs out here, federal programs out here, you're required to stay in that dwelling, not just Airbnb out while you're doing something else over there. It doesn't work that way. So he's thinking of it as if the world was some kind of equal, a fair thing where you could just go ahead and get 3% loans and banks will just allow you to do multiple of those for a while. It just doesn't work that way.
I actually like Bandman Kevo, man. I'm gonna tell you why.
I can't wait. Please.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because he is a certified scammer. He tell you this. He's on his record, right? He's on his record.
He can't deny it.
He tell you this out of his mouth, and people still sign up for all his courses. That lets you know how fucked up people is in the head, bro. Like I'm telling you, I'm a scammer, and you still paying me to teach you what do the right thing when you got caught doing the wrong thing to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and to answer Primo thing, like the reason why they go to the Walmart is because they need Walmart. Walmart's like one of their offices. That's what I'm gonna say about that. They need Walmart. They need to heal the grocery store because it's easy.
Yeah, they gotta
operate.
Good turnover. Good turnover.
Yeah, they gotta
there.
hit up all those joints.
Yeah.
All those joints.
Yeah,
Walmart,
I can think of
every ATM, everywhere you can find the ATM. That's where they are.
I can think of another example kind of like that, where he's like open the scammer and everything, probably on a larger profile. Jordan Belfort, man. Belfort, man. He's like he went to jail for pumping and dumping penny stocks, and now he's out and has but now he's pumping.
Yeah,
now he's pumping and dumping NFTs.
Real business though.
Oh my God!
Hold on,
That's
everybody,
so
hold on.
facts.
But Jordan Belfort is at least entertaining to listen to. This guy was like Marble Mouth. At least
you get value in that. They entertain.
What does that? Tell me. What does that say about society and about us, though? I want to say us specifically, and you guys in the chat. But I'm talking about society where you almost notice we glorify these kind of people, man. Like, it's almost like, why is it that we put guys like Jordan Belfort? Who's the other guy that was busted for mortgage fraud and then goes around talking about? He's actually a good storyteller. Pocket Watcher shouts him out all the time. Matthew Cox. You got all these guys, like they're up here, and Jordan Belfort, all these guys. Why is it that we respect?
Hell, even like
guys?
Martin Shkreli was building a
Martin
following.
Shkreli, yes. Like, so what does that say? And I want to get an honest like conversation going. Like, what does that say about us? Like, what does that say? Do we like that shit? Like,
we put more value on the money than we do the character. That's what it says.
We're morally bankrupt, dog.
It's just like it's like this, man. It's just like that. Like you explained.
I just find it
like
funny.
They want to like put themselves full of jewelry, right? They want to show you the cars. They want to show you the girls.
Yeah.
That's the magnet right there. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people wanna be like them later on. That's the thing. How you seen it? I don't know. I posted on the shop, bro. Bandman Kevo, he said like he spent. I mean, I know he lying on this one. I'm pretty sure he lying. He said he spent $300,000 a month buying clothes, bro. I'm like, yo, come on, bro. Like, let's stop it, G.
No. But you know what that does, though? What that does is some guys who are listening to that. Well, I want $300,000 a month to spend on clothes. Come on now, come on, bro. No, they're not messing with that kind of money, man. The feds want that shit. Do the taxes they be missing out on, bro? Fuck yeah, but they're not doing that.
This is genius what he's doing though. The genius part about him is like he letting you know, oh, I spend $300,000 a month. That means he letting you know that he making $3 million a month. That's what he implying.
You know what? Mr. Organics does the exact same thing. I'm tripping. wait, what am I? They do the exact same thing, bro. Like they're Mr. Organics, Fresh Prince CEO, and Bandman Kevo. They all do the exact same thing, bro. As I was researching this, I was like, wait a minute. Say it ain't so, bro. Because I felt like I was watching the same person, bro. I'm like, wait, this guy's also a rapper producer? Fresh was a rapper producer. Wait a minute. Mr. Organic is a rapper producer. They're all wearing these heavy chains and like marketing this shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Fresh does that on the goddamn daily. Mr. Organic does that. Bandman Kevo, holy shit. They're all scamming people. That 100K party that Fresh and Fit pulled off, right, or didn't pull off, that was a fucking scam. Never give their money back to their fucking followers. And for those of you Fresh and Fit stands that are coming afterwards and watch this video, no, dude, they fucking scam people. Unless you ask Fresh or Myron where the fuck that money went to those subscribers. And listen, bro, listen. You can't tell me nothing. They scammed them, and they blamed the whole thing on Allende, and they tried to ship it, and it was like, yo, y'all got caught. Where the fucking money at, dog? All right, so they scammed. And you look at Bandman Kevo. Boy has been scamming before this. You look at someone like Mr. Organics. He scammed before he got into the whole car business with Tall Guy. So, like, a lot of these guys, they all share similarities, dog.
What I want to know is,
it's like you got to get the starter package, all right? You got to get the chains. You got to make sure you become a rapper, and also don't forget the euros. You got to pop.
What I want to know is how do you spend $300,000 on clothes, man, for every month? Like because I got a few designers, And usually the way how Gucci and Louis Vuitton works, like they don't drop new clothes every month like that. It usually be like the summer time, then the winter time. It's like every 3 months, like they kind of like revampish their whole catalog. You see what I'm saying? So I want to know how this man spend $300,000 on clothes every month, yo. Like
he's buying them bags from Mr. Organic. That's how he's dropping all that money.
Get them
Those
Alibaba
bags.
special, dog.
Hey, Duke, I have to push back on you. I'm very firm on this. And I've never had a public conflict with you, and I respect you.
Let's make it happen.
But God damn it, if you ever call Fresh a producer again, we're gonna have to box. God damn it.
That's what
I've been making music. I've been making music for 28 goddamn years, and this motherfucker coming with 1 2 to become a producer.
Yo, he got the page.
Hey, listen, he got the first. Hey, listen. Oh shit. Hey, dog. Him and Mr. Organics made their first single, High Value Man. Oh my God!
Can we review that on air sometime?
Look at it
right now.
Can we listen to it? Can we listen? Can we listen?
Wait, this
Duke's gonna lose it, man. He's gonna.
Hey, Caduceus, I'd like to apologize that you have to listen to this shit.
I just made that connection just now.
I was just looking at my phone and I just was laughing, and I want to know what's going on.
Mr. Organics was on the same song as Fresh Prince CEO called High Value Man, dog.
High Value Man.
But they made a song called High Value Man.
Yeah, it is.
It's that number one single now. Come on, it's the
song
number
should be
one
called
single.
Boys in
Duke
the
and
Road.
Dom. That's what it is.
Serious, man.
Yo,
Coming to you live from Duke and Dom.
Why do you sound so depressed, Caduceus?
Because like it's just like there's a lot of horrible things in this world, but like
fucking God, I'm gonna
like,
die.
we need this one.
Now, Duke,
hold on.
when you play it, a puppy's gonna die. I just want you to know that every time you play this song, a puppy dies somewhere. So.
Hey, I don't know if we need to risk it. Come on, we got to be careful here.
Hey, Primal, let your dog outside right now. Like, otherwise, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's called Animal Cruelty. We play that song in front of that dog. They go Peter on you.
I'm gonna pull that up because I know he had that shit with Mr. Organic. Oh my God, bro! Like it's crazy how I'm just making this connection, bro. How they all wear this fucking chains, how they all like do all these different things, and then I just come to find out, I realized him and Fresh made a song together called "Bro." The scam doesn't.
Dude, I bet the music video is hilarious, man.
Dude, it's. I must admit that I do watch it quite a bit to laugh.
Wait, there's a music
Fresh
video.
told you this,
yes,
bro.
Sir.
Fresh said he's like, yo.
Oh my goodness! Like I just see, I can imagine him the CEO chain with like that says CEO on it, and then him going like, I'm a high value man.
And I can imagine the credit. The credit says Great Value Productions. I can just see it right now.
Like Great Value, like the grocery store.
Yes.
Awesome.
Hold on. I think this might be it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, hold on. This is it. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear it. All right, let me know if you guys can hear it. Hold up. No, that's not it. Hold up, real quick. I got a couple screens I'm sharing real quick.
I should go get my glasses right now.
Oh my God, hold up. Hey, Salve, shout out for the super chat, dog. I was like, hey, God, I'm trying to hold it together, but like I am literally making these connections in real time. Like I can't help but like to keep laughing, dog. Like it's just like too funny. It's almost like this shit was planned, but I refuse to believe it was planned. But then you realize the other half of the podcast host is Myron, who was a former federal agent. So like, listen, there's just too much. And you got a fucking coyote in the building. I mean, come on, bro. Like there's too much. It's coincidence to do it. Hey, listen to this shit.
Great.
Hey, come on, man. Drop it, baby.
Ooh, Mercedes.
I don't think.
Jay, what's up, man?
I'm a high value man. AP. I started driving in the van. I'm a clearing more than a lamb. She asked a nigga for a purse. I told her drop dead hearse. She asked a nigga for a purse. I told her drop dead hearse. I'm a high value man. I started driving in the van. I'm a clearing more than a lamb. She asked a nigga for a trip.
Grover, pour another drink, man. You're gonna need it.
$100,000 Bitcoin, nigga, I'm living large. Yeah, credit score so good, no doubt. on my cars. Yeah, I told that bitch you can't never get.
Hold on, we gotta get to Fresh's verse. We gotta get to Fresh's verse.
About niggas see his bank account. Zero bitch, this how a nigga who's hot vouch. She asked a nigga for a purse. She asked a nigga for a trip. I told that bitch to get lift. She asked a nigga for a trip. I told that bitch to get lift.
Yeah, and waste time on a bitch. Yeah, you flex on my neck. Gotta keep these hoes in check. Yeah, money always on my mind. Wanna waste time. Credit score unchanged. Got these bitches on a leash. Networking made me a G. Now you gotta be 100K in 1 month. They said it couldn't be done. 100K next time.
Hey, you know what the funny thing is? They all drive Uruses. They all drive Uruses, bro. I don't know what it is with Lamborghini Uruses and these scammers, but they all drive Uruses, dog.
Because it's money. That's funny, why.
Bro.
It's money.
It's I'm telling you, bro. The quiz it is. Hey, shout out to yourself, babe, for the super chat. Any bobs in their head, I'm roasting. Nah, bro. We gotta finish Fresh's verse. We gotta finish Fresh's verse, okay?
Oh yeah,
we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're already done with this. But yeah, no, they had a high value song together. That wasn't a joke. But that shit was real.
I thought you were kidding me, man.
Yeah,
I wasn't joking, though. When I was telling y'all, these guys bastardized the high value meaning. Like, hey, Kevin Samuels, I know it wasn't you that came up with it, but go ahead and like get your copyright buddy or some shit because they fucked it up, bro. Like, this is a meme.
How much do you think they spent making that video?
A lot. Probably like no more than like maybe 10 bands.
A lot of it was stock footage.
That's all B-roll. That's all B-roll. I could do, man. Me and Scott could do that shit in my apartment, dude. That's B-roll.
That's true.
My music would sound better.
Listen.
They probably just paid a bit for those clips, and then they
got that. They got that high value bread, baby.
They gotta rent the yacht, right? They gotta rent the yacht, so
they gotta rent the yacht, the mansion, and the car.
I mean, not necessarily. They weren't next to.
They got to pay the girls. They got to rent the yacht.
Well, that's true. I think. Are they renting a yacht right now? Because which one was the one that Miranda went on? Because I know Fresh still has ownership of that.
They always rent a yacht.
Oh, the sausage yacht.
Whatever one. Yeah, because there's one they still hold on to right now. That every time, like they're moving on.
With that.
Nah, I know. Caduceus got them jabs.
Caduceus lightweight hit a heater, dude.
But real talk though, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like a lot of y'all, you can't feel sorry about these dudes. These guys that fall into the scams, these guys that pay. I can't feel sorry for you because they're literally rubbing this in your face, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna rob you." Mr. Organics literally puts on a ski mask when he gets on live, basically letting y'all know y'all being robbed or y'all about to be robbed, and y'all still buy into this. I'm sorry, bro. Like there's no you're responsible for this. So when you wake up after flaming everybody else who've been trying to warn you that you will being scammed, listen, it's only then you can learn what the fuck we've been saying this entire time. Like, listen, it's not our jobs to force you guys or whatever it is. That's why I think you guys are thinking that we're trying to convince you that they're haters. No. We're just pointing this out because this is good content for us and shit for us to laugh at. But realistically, you guys are going to come to that on their own. I can't tell you how many DMs I've gotten from former people who used to follow Fresh and Fit, guys that used to follow Mr. Organics that are coming in and saying, hey, man, I used to follow this shit, but when you put this stuff together, it actually makes fucking sense. And I've been seeing some other shit on YouTube and other content creators, and honestly, I'm awake now, but I guarantee you that same person that's coming in my DMs telling me that shit is the same person that probably cussed somebody else out who was initially calling these guys out, because I'm not the first one to come out and say this shit. There are other people who've been doing this, but people at some point become red pill, I guess, or they realize that, hey, shit, maybe I was scammed. Maybe I did get scammed. Maybe this shit's not, holy shit, maybe I need to reconsider what that other person has been saying, and then they come back. It's not my job to force you to subscribe. It's not my job to force you to do anything. My job is to basically point out the inconsistencies and the hypocrisies these guys display on a daily basis, and you guys can make the fucking decision.
Look at my man right there.
Amen. But like you were spitting some good things right there, but I just was thinking about Oscar Mayer. You know the Oscar Mayer wiener trucks? Just the Oscar Mayer yacht.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
This is not.
You got an high value man on the side.
Man.
Yeah.
This is so crazy that it's laughable, man. The people just willingly is. I thought the street was worse, man, but I guess the internet's worse. I thought the street was bad. The internet's worse.
But you know, all of us, we act like this is new, but like if you take it back, I mean, Jimmy Swagger, TD Jakes, all these folks was getting people to send their money. I mean, I gotta actually give it to Bandman Kevo. At least he's
That's what I say. I like him.
At least he's acting like he knows something. But like I seen the bishop sit up there and said, "Look, I gotta make payments on my Cadillac. What y'all got for me?" And they just passed the plate around. I was like, and I'm sitting here working my ass off in school, feeling broke.
Hey, God said y'all need to pay for this Lambo and jet. All right, God said, hey, who's that pastor
Lambo?
that they got caught up?
Kenneth Copeland.
Hey, you remember that pastor they got caught up?
Yeah,
when they were talking about God needs a private jet.
Yeah, he's like, I'm in a tube full of
$10
demons.
million.
I'm in a tube full of demons. I can't speak to God. I can't talk to God.
I can't ride coach no more, y'all. All these demons around the coach bus. Hey, y'all got to pay first class, or God said I got to get a private jet.
God said that I need a G40.
What was that? Yep. See, God said I got to get me a private jet. So let's go ahead and get them offerings up.
Plant your seed, brother. It'll plant tenfold. Now,
hey, can I say something real quick?
GP, what's up, baby?
Good. Go ahead, Greg Pill. Shout out to you.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, appreciate y'all, fella. I want to say this real quick, and I'll go back into the chat to support because I felt a little bit triggered because majority of chat keeps swearing to God. Majority of them, especially one, was saying that that the video is fan made. The video is not fan made. Fresh promoted this this so-called self-made high value man video. He was in the studio with Mr. Organic. Don Cornelius or Miss Cornelius actually did an exposed video on him. He actually has like quote unquote documentation self-claiming that he's a rapper, entertainer, all this stuff that Grover put 20 plus years hard work to do. So stop the cap.
No, that was a real production. Like Fresh talked about it.
Real production.
Honestly, if it was fan made, I would have been really impressed because that's a great impersonation of Fresh Prince CEO.
Yeah,
you know the difference between fan made and a B-roll and an A-roll film. Like, come on, man, do the homework. It doesn't take much.
They made that song. Lady D Lee 86, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know he needs to get out. He's been self-snitching all his interviews. That's facts. And that was one thing I want to get through in this chat. I want to get your opinion. Now, obviously, we're getting into the realm of hypotheticals now and conspiracy. So, guys, bear with me in the chat, and those of you guys who be watching this on the after show, okay? So this is it, all right? But here's the thing. I think he snitched. Like, my opinion, which is just like assholes, and everyone got it, all right? I think he snitched. There's no way that the feds are looking at you, all right? Okay, you beat the state case for 10 years, all right? Federal looking at you for 30 years, and then they say, listen, okay, now all of a sudden, we're going to drop it down to 22 months. It's less than a year. You mean to tell me, out of the goodness of their hearts, or how hard the lawyer had to fight, knowing all the evidence that was already against you at that point in time, they caught you with cards at Walmart. You had over a dozen cards on you at Walmart when they busted your ass. So they had evidence already to mount, okay? So you mean to tell me after all that, they just said, okay, yeah, no, you just do, I know you were facing 30 years, but we'll give you less than a year. No, you gave somebody else up that the feds really wanted, and they gave you a deal. That's my opinion, which is like assholes, and everyone has it. But let's see if there's any other assholes on the panel here.
well, taking it from somebody who
deals
with a lot of lawyers.
I don't like to put the snitch jacket on people that don't have it. But if you be on the streets and you start hearing these kind of sentences like this, it sound very, very phony at the bare minimum, bro. Sound very phony. Because usually the people that usually get kind of caught up on these kind of things, it's usually they usually gone between like 5 to 7 maybe. That's like the standard. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy named Hush Puppy. He's a big time Nigerian scammer.
Yeah. He gave us all a bad name. Every Nigerian in the book. We all look stupid now. Back to the 419 days.
He looking at 35 to life in jail. Like his very minimum is 35, and he stole about. I heard he stole about like over 120 million, something like that. He scammed. That's what he was scamming banks. Like he was big time. He wasn't.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was over 100 million. I don't know if it was 100 million. I know it was
a lot of money. That's what
it was. Okay, I don't know if it was 100 million though. But hey, Hey,
man, no, listen. How you seen like when I saw his little report, yo, the way he was living. This man had like 7 Rolls Royce, bro. He had a different Rolls Royce for every day of the week.
Well, with Hush Puppy's case, what he was doing that was so different, and where he was able to get a lot more money because he was scamming corporate entities, right? So what they would do, and this is what Nigerians were known for, right? So they'll social engineer their way into like email accounts between big organizations, and once they hack it, they sit there and they'll wait until they can figure out a transaction they can like reroute, they can capture and reroute, and basically say, hey, you know, with all the false information, they'll say, hey, listen, this was a wrong account info, do it again. And what they rely on is people being complacent in their jobs and stuff like that. And what they'll end up doing is saying, okay, yeah, it looks close enough to that email. Let me go ahead and send them the right account number, not realizing that you're connecting to guys like a Hush Puppy and shit. And then the transaction goes into their bank account. But what Hush Puppy was doing required a larger network of people. So you got people who need to watch the money, you got people to bring it in, people to go ahead and pretty much clean it up. I think they had crypto involved and shit like that.
It was pretty easy what he was doing, bro. Like I know how you call it, a non-pro, one of those organizations. So he was getting this bank account, and then he was plugging it with the bank, and then he had them kind of connect together, and they changed and put the logo of the bank to make it real. And then his job, he had the money.
No, his job was he was the one that supplied the bank account. There was another guy who was because you got people who hacked the emails, and you got other guys who had to supply the bank account to be able to match the transaction that was coming in. So if it was a corporate transaction for like $1 million, well, they got to have a couple accounts to be able to take that kind of money that's illegal. So Hush Puppy was the one that would provide those accounts, and he would provide that via networks he had. But what I was trying to say is they had a huge network of people that did, because those kind of scams that Hush Puppy was in had like different. That's why his consequences are actually going to be more severe than what Bandman Kevo was facing, because they actually required a vast network of people, like a whole chain, to make this happen. And yeah, that's why I can't see him doing for over $1 million, hundreds of millions of dollars. I can see that shit happening and whatnot. But like, real talk, it's crazy how these guys get on. But you notice, like, guys like Hush Puppy, they come on here and they don't tell you about the scamming and stuff like that. No. They want to give you that manifestation shit, right? Because what happens when these guys who come out here don't want to tell you how they really make their money, whether it's they really don't have money to begin with or they're scamming people, right? They go into this whole motivational shit, right? That manifestation shit. Yeah, guys, you see how I'm living, right? You guys can live just like this. You guys can have this thing. So it's very vague kind of mentality. So what it is to get other people to buy in, either for social validation or in like Bandman Kevo's case, to scam more people.
It's just like he was like you were saying, bro. Like he put up like a big production company. Now, Hush Puppy had a nice network, but like what I was trying to tell you was like the scam became so easy because he had it down to the pad. That's why he got all that money. You see what I'm saying? Like this man, bro. If anybody want to get familiar with it, you need to go to like somewhere on one of this documentary on YouTube about him. Yo, he was living lavish, bro. When I'm talking about lavish, this man was spending 10, 20 bands a night like it was nothing. You at the club. He'd be in Dubai, Barcelona, Paris. Homeboy used to be like, for him to step out, it used to cost, like, for him to get dry, it was like 10, 20 bands right there. Yeah. You haven't even stepped outside yet. Yeah, like the baddest girls. He was flying them out. All these American girls, all these OnlyFans girls that you see over here taking those pictures on Dubai. Hush Puppy had them over there on their knees, doing certain strength for a piece of change. Yeah. That's what he was doing. Yeah. But what Bandman Kevo was doing, it was more like ghetto scams. You see what I'm saying? You know, 2,000 here, 5,000 there. You see what I'm saying? And I still federal crime though. It's still federal because you're involved in the bank. Once you involve the bank, it becomes federal because you do a wire transfer.
But Poppy, that's why we got to talk about this stuff. When he's talking about guys doing stuff with mortgages and getting mortgage for like 3% down and saying, hey, just let an Airbnb and pay off the cash flow for that, and then you can just get more 3%. That's bank fraud. That's bank fraud. The moment you sign on a dotted line saying, hey, I'm using this loan for this particular purpose, and then you take that money and use it for something completely different, you just committed fraud with your name on a dotted line. So there's a fucking paper trail leading right back to yo dumbass. So when he's doing that shit to all these other guys, he's still perpetuating the same crime, making it sound like he's bringing out something new that's underground that no one talks about yet. And let me tell you this. I'm gonna show you this before we start to close out. And I want to get your opinions about this because this was done by one of the main mans of the manosphere. And shout out to Pocket Watcher with JT, guys, because I'm a pocket watcher. All right, I know you got some pocket watchers in the chat, or some of you guys who would be watching the channel here. But he also did a breakdown of these CPNs, right? Like I was talking about, because a lot of this stuff with the primaries, okay? Because listen, you can only have so many primaries on your bank, on your credit report, right? Because another way to do it is by having other people essentially or creating other social security numbers, right? And how do you do it? You do it through a CPN. And Bandman Kevo, ironically, also had a video out there explaining CPNs. You see what I told you about how when people talk about these primary credit schemes, like they almost go hand in hand with CPN, because the reason why, I've been in the credit repair business, all right? And this is the reason why a lot of people in the credit repair business, they have a name or like a what do you call it? A reputation for scams, right? Because this is the kind of bullshit they pull. So CPN is basically a random generated social security number that hasn't been used, that hasn't been used, that's issued. And what essentially happens is a lot of these guys attach credit profiles to it. So essentially those are credit lines or primary credit lines from Macy's or some of these department stores that you're talking about. They attach it to those CPNs, which essentially creates a technically a legal entity, a legal person, right? And that's how you can get to continue the scams from there. So when he goes into is basically breaking down CPNs and how you can technically use a CPN if you don't want to use your real social security number. And Pocket Watcher JT basically calls him out in there saying that's illegal, bro. Don't you ever fucking do that. So I'll let I know that gentleman that put that stuff in the corner on the comments saying
by itself isn't the thing that's keeping you from getting a car or keeping you from getting.
Hold up. That guy in the comment section, I forgot your name, they was telling me that I got to give him some slack. Listen, I give him the respect for basically the hustle, but he's still out here promoting scams. Like, they don't know offensive basketball. He's still out here promoting scams. So I can't, in good faith, give him props for that. But I'm going to let Pocket Watcher with JT take it away. Go ahead.
Can I do one thing of speculation?
Go ahead, Canisius. Speculate.
All right. You mentioned earlier on the show when he was talking about himself, about like open about what he was doing. He stopped himself before he was about to say he didn't pay taxes. Do you think that's a big part of why he maybe got caught? And then on the other hand, super chats. You see, like a lot of these guys, they have these random super chat donors that are like 500 with like no text in them. Do you think that maybe these guys, these channels could be good money laundering fronts where you can clean money? And like maybe that's how he got in link with these scammer types.
Cadesius with the hold the fuck. Whoa.
I disagree.
I mean, this is all speculation.
I know we're speculating, but you know, my senses were tingling because I just realized that is a perfectly legitimate way to launder money, bro. If you really think about it, if you really think about it, bro, these YouTube chats and shit, like you can make a fake YouTube account, you can have multiple accounts, and as long as that super chat button's there, anybody can throw in anything. So who's to say somebody doesn't buy a gift card that you can do payments on, all right, and then buy those gift cards and then launder the money through YouTube? Hey, listen, bro. Hey.
I disagree. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, there's a little problem with that.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that speculation.
Go ahead.
Because like you only see like you only gonna see like one or two 500 people sending 500 people. I mean $500. You ain't gonna see like now. If you see,
well, I've seen the case where it's one guy send 4 super chats in a row that were 500 each, and like on people who do that on other channels too. Before it happened on Fresh and Fit before. It's happened on it's happened on like a lot of the Manosphere content. Like Fresh and Fit is the only one I've seen it personally, but I've heard it happening on other shows.
I've always thought it was these crypto guys.
Like that, man. You see like guys really quick to 500, and then you see like 4 or 5 guys sending 100, the rest be like 20s and 5. You see what I'm saying?
But how do you know those guys are legitimate? Though?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to really tell.
Those guys, listen. We already know that some trolls could come out here with like 3 or 4 or 5 favorite accounts, and they can go ahead and do any sorts of things, right? So who's to say that those 3 accounts that you're seeing, okay, one has 100, one has 200, the other, listen, that could be the same person throwing in different super chats from different prepaid accounts, because you know there are prepaid accounts you can use to pay online bills, and YouTube is no different. You can use it for stuff like that too as well. They're like discount cards that you can buy to do that. There's the what do you call it? There's a gift card scam that a lot of people refund scams is what these scammers do, right? Where they try to do these HTML stuff in your website, and then they'll try to trick you to go to Best Buy to buy gift cards, and then give them the code so they can sell it on dark web and shit. That's what it is. So who's to say that these accounts that you're not seeing on these websites right now aren't like fake and being used to launder money? And guess what? It's clean because YouTube's taking the percentage and the government's taking the percentage out of it.
Well, but Duke,
the
only problem with that is that YouTube and Facebook, as well as another major social media firm, they are in full cooperation with the government, like Amazon, because this happens so much. And so yes, there's a way to launder it, but YouTube's going to give up the ghost and all the backtracking. And yes, you do have to create an account. You can create a different account, but I mean, you have to be pretty sophisticated to hide your account over and over.
Yeah, I don't see it.
But the question though, why would the
solid bot network to get it done? Like it doesn't.
But what is the government's incentive to go after them if they're getting paid too? Because they're getting the taxes.
The government incentive to go at it if they're defrauding any financial institutions, because at one point someone has to pay, and who pays it is usually a financial institution. If the money is fraudulent, the financial institution pays.
They'll have to catch it on one end though before they try to catch it on the other. So the one end would be the point of origin where the fraud's coming from, right? Whether it's the scams or the ATM withdrawals and stuff like that, right? So they can probably catch it at that point. But we're talking about anonymous accounts when that money then gets translated into gift cards or prepaid gift cards, and then they're all moving about on the web and things like that. It gets pretty difficult to track realistically.
It really does. The easiest way to track it would be at the point of who's getting the donation. So, for instance, if I'm getting a donation and my donations are large and suspicious, sooner or later, yes, Fresh and Fit, they get $500, and so does the lead attorney, right? But if the tip network with 1,200 subscribers starts getting $500 super chats, that's suspicious as hell. And so, yes, it could be hidden with one of these bigger channels, but eventually, at the point that it's happening, you're going to get caught, because they're not going to go after the people who it's hard to go after. They're going to go and sit down with Myron, who's an ex-Fed, who you know was probably kicked out because he was doing nasty stuff to women on the border, allegedly. I'm sorry, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but that's just at that point, I believe it's more easy for them to catch, because they always go after the low-hanging fruit. So they're not going to go after the scam that's in the ether. They're going to go after the person who's benefiting from it the most, or who they can say or make a case that they're benefiting from.
Okay, but so wouldn't
the
lowest hanging fruit be a guy that's like spending a shitload of money and without like any reasonable income behind it, though? Stream income.
But we just made the case that they don't know who the person is.
Yeah, but like when they,
the recipient, you know who the recipient of the super chat is, though, and
but I'm saying the person who's receiving it's the lowest hanging fruit because they're the easiest to catch.
But here's the thing, Bandman Kevo, Khaleesi's and Grover. No, Bandman Kevo actually admitted the whole reason why he got caught was because he was a dude literally getting all this money with no income. So take it outside the social media platform, right? But he actually got caught because he was the low-hanging fruit the feds were looking into. And the same thing with Hush Puppy and some of these other guys, right? When they look at your vast spending and your social, because he even said, like, during that time, he was flossing hard on social media, bro. Like the risk, everything. So they were watching him even after the state case before the feds picked them up. So that's what these guys do. Like they're flashing and shit. So when these guys look into you, they're like, oh shit. Okay, how's this guy making all this money and then there's no recorded income? I think that's how Hush Puppy initially got the radar set on him, because everyone was looking at him like, yo, who the fuck is this idiot on fucking, not idiot, but like who the fuck is this guy on goddamn Instagram? He's flossing all his wealth from Nigeria and there's no record of where any of this came from. Like what's going on, and then they'll look into you, right? The same thing with Bandman Kevo, the same thing with all these other guys that are getting caught up with these PPP loans and whatnot. The first thing they do is this extravagant spending, because deep down, a lot of them just want the fancy shit. They want the lifestyle. That's what it is, right? So we blame females for doing this shit, but a lot of times, a lot of dudes gets in the same trap too as well. We fall into this. We want to look rich rather than being rich. That's why this clown can get on fucking media and say, hey, generational wealth is getting in debt.
Yeah, and also a fair case too, because like you said, bro, as soon as you put your name, sign your name in any bank activity, it becomes federal. And the Fed's got a 98% conviction rate. So that means if they come and ask you, you got 98% chance you're going to jail.
Well, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion, and I got to say this. I mean, just knowing people, especially prosecutors, it's a foregone conclusion that this gentleman owns something, because you're not going to have the ability to go from, let's say, 10 years to under a year. That doesn't happen because there's no
right.
Absolutely not, because the only out that you have in federal court is to tell on somebody, and your lawyer got that.
So I think he snitched, dog. Hey, Bandman. Hey, I think you tattled, dog. I think you tattled. I think there's somebody you told. Because there's no way. Listen, there's no way the Fed has that high of a conviction rate, and they just leave you with 22 months. All right, and dog, there had to be a bigger fish than you. There had to be a bigger fish than you that they wanted, and they gave you a sweet, hard deal. Say, hey, instead of 30 years, you get 22 months. And you over here, even though, look it, and we're not done with Bandman Kevo. We still got videos that are going to be coming on him, all right? Like, there's going to be tons and tons of videos. But the one thing I want to get clear is the fact that, bruh, a lot of people asking you, did you snitch? And a lot of answers that he brought forward were literally just talking about other people. Like, oh, the white people out here, they're getting caught up and we're not getting caught up. Meanwhile, you over here and DJ Vlad pretty much airing out everybody else except you. The accountability that you need to take about what the fuck you did.
Yo, dude, you know what would be funny? Yo, chat, you know what would be funny as hell? If like 2-3 months down the road, whatever, we find out that Bandman Kevo told him hush puppy.
I thought you was
listen, that would be the most funniest shit ever, yo.
Bro, I was scared. I thought what you were about to say is like 3 to 4 months from now, we're gonna see this nigga on the stand testifying.
Oh, you are.
Like 6ix9ine. Hey, y'all remember 6ix9ine? We gonna see him. We gonna see him on the stand. And, yeah, officer, it was him. It was him, and he also got me involved in that business too.
No, I feel handing out.
There you go.
Also, I'm not sure how deep his fraud was, because one thing I was fascinated with is RICO charges, the federal RICO charges. And if he had, I mean, the reason why Hush Puppy got so many years, it was over
$600,000.
Yeah, but the reason why Hush Puppy got so many years is because the intricacy, as you said, his scam. So Bandman Kevo, if he had 4 people involved working with him, then it's a RICO. And so, yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I'm pretty sure he just told on people.
It was either close to $1 million the max this guy scammed people for, or I think the concrete verified one that I saw that you guys can trace back, that is actually verified. I think it was over $693,000 that in total that he scammed from people before he went to prison. And then other reports that are speculative say it was over $1 million, which I don't know for his stature at that point in time. I don't think he was pulling that money, but the $690,000 seems more legitimate. But yeah, it was still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money.
You got $600,000 and you buy a Maserati, which by the way is a shitty car, by the way. But you buy a Maserati,
it's pretty much a Ford Taurus, dog. It's an Italian Ford Taurus. I'm just
I mean, I'm like, hold on a second. Like, it's $600,000 not enough money to be trying to buy a Maserati.
To answer Groover, man, like the reason why a guy like Bandman Kevo doesn't get the RICO is because he was a small fish. When they come for the RICO for you, it's some big time organization. I'm talking about like the mobs. The RICO was made to come after the mob. The mob was getting people for millions. They were like getting like unions and stuff like that. Bandman Kevo was doing more like a street level scam. They're not going to waste.
But they did that. I think the reason why he got 22 months. Say what?
They use the RICO case for smaller folks all the time, though. The RICO case is true for that, but they use the RICO case for anything. I mean, they'll use a RICO case just like they use the Mann Act. The Mann Act was made for something and it's used for something totally different. The RICO case is the same way. I mean, what the federal government will do is prosecute you any way they can, and they will stack up so many years against you because their objective is for you not to go to court. Their objective is for you to snitch,
to plead out.
And so they'll tell you you're going to
now. Grover, let me ask you this. Grover, let me ask you this. Do you think that because I actually can see that, right? I can see that now. Do you believe that part of that 22 months that he got was basically that or facing a potential RICO case? Because I think for someone who stole that, because okay, $600,000, that's nothing compared to the people he's name dropping or sort of kind of name dropping that were stealing millions of dollars in the same field, right? Because he will always compare his crimes to white people doing similar crimes, and I'm like, they were getting millions. So did you? You see what I'm saying? Did you give them up for, you know, millions of dollars? Like what's happening here in order to not to avoid a RICO? Because you're not going to beat a RICO. There's a reason why they create that law. It's to make sure that they can grab as many people underneath that net as possible. There's no getting. They
created that case so Giuliani could be mayor. But besides that, whatever happened to the guy who was in the car with
Rudy?
You know, like these are the questions I always say. Like, he got caught with somebody, him and his boy was someplace. He doesn't talk about his boy anymore because his boy could be in jail. I mean, his boy could still be in jail. I'm telling you that people snitch immediately. People snitch. People snitch at the police station. Then they snitch again to the DA. They snitch to their cellmates. They snitch all the time.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yo, highlight the last comment, yo.
Meyer thinks he knows.
No, the one before that one.
He snitched on me.
Nice. I think. Do you think he was snitching for some like Wendy's hamburgers when he was in the clink?
I motherfucking snitched for a bologna sandwich. He like, you know what? I'm hungry.
No,
and this cat right
here,
here.
you better watch your back, bro. Hey, but they're all in the same cohort, bro. They all drive the same cars with the same change. Only difference is Omi doesn't rap. That's the only biggest difference. But let me get to the pocket watches thing real quick, because I want y'all to see this, because he talks about CPNs, and I want to watch what a real CPA. All right, let me see a real financial advisor. All right, this is college educated, bachelor degree level or master degree level. Okay, here's the thing, y'all gonna hear from him and what he thinks. So let's go ahead and get it.
Enough income, you don't qualify for the loan, right? It's not just because you're a felon. So that makes no sense.
In a home with a clean record and a high credit score, people use CPNs. Now, yes, that is illegal. You really don't supposed to be using CPNs and all that, but it's only illegal until you do something illegal with
the second you filled out that application and it says Social Security number and you put a CPN down, that was illegal. It doesn't matter if you paid the loan on time. It doesn't matter what you did with the money. The second you put in a number that's not your Social Security number, that was the illegal act.
CPN. So a lot of people, they get credit cards and they won't pay them back. You know what I mean? So let's say if they get a credit card for $50,000 under a CPN with the same name, same birthday, different address, or same name, different birthday, different address. Basically, they'll get a $50,000 credit card mailed to them. They'll go get jury. They'll get.
Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This works hand in hand. This works perfectly hand in hand with those primary accounts that I was talking about, because essentially you're creating a new credit profile with different variations of your information. So that's what it, and that kind of scheme, when he talks about like primary stuff, this is where it eventually leads to. It's like the natural conclusion is you start getting the CPNs involved, and you start getting into a whole new illegal territory of talking about creating names for the sake of creating names. And you start pitching it like Bandman Kevo's pitching it as, oh, you can use a CPN if you don't want to use a real social. That's fucking illegal. The moment you sign on a bank document, right, and the information there is not, literally the document that you're signing at the bottom of it basically says, hey, I hereby attest that everything that I put on this document is legal. That's literally what you're signing. And if you're anything in that document is fraudulent, you could be liable, or there could be charges lobbied against you. And that's what these guys preaching. So it's that logical conclusion as you start going down that path of primary, finding primary buyers online and shit, or through the dark web. And that's what he's not telling you. A lot of this stuff that they did, they stole credit card and debit card information through the dark web. There's something called a fraud Bible that exists out there, dog. Like literally, y'all got to get educated on some of this shit, bro.
It's out there.
I like the way he tried to explain it off. Like, it's illegal, but it's not illegal until you do something illegal. I'm like, so it's illegal until you get caught.
It's like, it's
1
illegal,
+ 1
but
equals
it's
2, but not unless somebody see you write down 2.
But people don't catch this though. People, hey, every single one of you guys will be called a hater or a clout chaser for calling this out. Every single one of y'all right now that just said that. Some of y'all in the chat that just noticed what Kadisi just said, y'all will be called haters or clout chasers. Make it make sense, Blog. Like please, make it make sense. I don't understand it myself. Like, this guy is literally encouraging fraud, and we're haters. Okay.
Whatever, right? And then just burn it out, which is illegal, right? It's also another term as synthetic fraud, right? So
CPNs, that is what synthetic fraud is, right? That is really synthetic identity theft, because technically you're not stealing an identity of someone who exists. No one exists, because that CPN is a random number that someone was able to find that wasn't already issued as a social security number, right? So a social security number is a 9-digit number. And if you do a bunch of numbers randomly enough, you're going to find a set of 9 digits that hasn't already been issued as a social security number. And then they use that number as the CPN. So technically, you're not stealing the identity of someone who exists. You're creating a new person, and you're assuming that identity. So it's a synthetic type of identity.
What did I just tell y'all? He explained it in a more professional, educated manner than I could drunkenly explain it to you on here. That's essentially what you're doing. All right, with some variation of that information, you are using that to fraudulently obtain a loan. And this dude is trying to sell it as some kind of new, mysterious way that not a whole lot of people know about, but they're using it to get money and get access to these massive amounts of loans.
Sell courses. Say that.
You see what I'm saying? And this video was recent, bro. This hasn't even been a full year length. So I'm letting y'all know, like that last gentleman that put the chat in, listen, I acknowledge his past, but we're looking at the present right now, and he's still on the same shit. Now, granted, he's not doing it himself, or we don't know if he's doing it himself or not, but he is actively encouraging other people to continue this behavior. So just keep that in mind.
So
he went from
the mere fact that you use a CPN, that is synthetic identity theft.
So when a person sits and because CPNs can be made, people sit and make them, and they fully tri-merge them, and basically once you put the trade line on a CPN, basically it becomes a person once you register. And some people are even better. So you have people who make birth certificates, you have people who make social security cards, you have people that make IDs, because I know y'all probably somebody has a social.
See how deep this shit gets? Now people make birth certificates for this shit. They make all these, they're making it a real person, and it's not. They just create a false identity that isn't. This is fraud, dog. Like, this is get you like in some federal. You can do some federal time for this shit. Like, but he's openly pitching it as like this is some kind of new move. Like, I'm so dumbfounded right now, dog. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
You can't just make fake people up. You just can't make fake people up. I mean, make it make sense. This is insane.
Just game the feds, bro.
Hey, that's Fed maxing, dog. You gotta Fed max that shit, dog. Hey, that means you gotta get them credit cards. You gotta credit max that shit.
He's gonna be calling it sentence maxing next. I'm sentence maxing.
He's gonna be a soap cell. Or he's not gonna be a cell, and that's gonna be the real problem.
Oh my God. Hey, the videos I got coming later, it's gonna prove that this guy's also a simp. So I wanted to put it all in one live stream, but I also want to do a call-in portion. We're almost 3 hours in. Listen, but it would have been too damn long. But like, listen. Next portion that we're gonna do on Bandman Kevo, this dude like legitimately admits to basically paying for box. So which is cool. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying when you
him and Fresh go to the same jeweler. They go
you
to
see
the
what I'm
same
saying?
jeweler, so that's how it works. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, if you're gonna go on Fresh and Fit, listen, if you're gonna be talking about burning the dies and shit, you better be, using the burning the dies. But if it come to find out you're paying for box, we're gonna have to talk about it, man. We're gonna have to talk about it because you got some explaining to do. Go ahead, girl.
Hey, dude, can I ask you a question? I remember I was watching that stream where you really called Fresh out on normalizing venereal disease, but I just put it together, burning desire. Now I understand he's been burnt. He's pissing fire. Okay. Well, so look, I had it all wrong. I thought he was capping, but really what he's doing is he's just got chlamydia.
I picked up a burning desire. It kind of sometimes it stings. Sometimes.
And yo, we're not capping, dog. We're not capping. He literally said on live, bro, with Miranda that real players get herpes or whatever it is. Like we're not like no one is like, listen, nobody caps on here. Like literally, bro, we call out that shit. This bro, like I don't know if y'all saw that live, but we covered it. Only real players get burned desires, meaning that you're not a real like womanizer unless you got a little itch. Like, but this is what we tell young men. This is what we tell young men, and these are the same guys, you know, saying that, hey, I don't use rubber, I don't use no protection kind of thing, because only real men don't use protection. Now he's saying only real players get burned. Listen, dude, these guys are just all around.
I already have their new course name. It's called "Become Rich and Get That Genital Itch." That's their catchphrase.
Oh man, like I would see the fact that he was just so open. Like I was shocked because I was on Kevin's stream when I first heard that. I'm like, wait, this nigga just said only real players get burned. Oh no, like
you know what would be funny, yo?
This is a big problem. We can't have this. We cannot have this.
Those subscribers are so dumb, bro, that I'm pretty sure somebody super chatted to like, yeah, Fresh, I got burned. Now I'm just like you. I'm a real player now.
See, that's why y'all motherfuckers can't get mad when I call these dudes out, including the guys in the fucking audience. Because listen, I believe in good old spanking, okay? And this is a digital representation of y'all getting spanked, okay? I have to call you out the stupidity that you guys bring on the channel. You guys are like this is dumb, bro. You can't follow a guy or blindly follow a guy that says it's cool for you to get herpes. All right, listen, I don't care how much sleeping around that these guys promote. It's not worth it to get that itch that you can't scratch. Listen, herpes is a real fucking thing, and you take that to your grave, bro. There's no fucking cure for that shit. So don't let these guys on the internet teach you something that you will end up regretting for the rest of your life. Like literally, use protection out there, okay? Be safe. Not all players do that shit. Only the whack ass dirty dick dudes do that shit, okay? And Fresh and Myron, all them dudes, you keep following them footsteps, you gonna have a dirty dick too. Just saying.
Wow, that's a public service announcement.
I just had to put that out there, Grover.
So how can they use this CPN? So you have people who make all this paperwork and do all this. So that's how they get the cards, that's how they get the credit cards, that's how they get to open up the banking accounts. But a lot of places are catching on to CPNs by when they really dig deep into it. Let's say if the CPN was made 2 months ago, let's say if you're a bank teller, you can see that the CPN was made 2 months ago. That's why a lot of people who have success with CPNs, they age them. So what I mean by aging is if it's a trade line and it's 2 years old, if it's a CPN, that means the CPN is only really 2 years old. But if you get a 30-year trade line and you add it on a CPN, it looks like you're 30 years old. You get what I'm saying? But like I say, all this kind of stuff that's going on, people don't know about it. But the CPN it's basically like a second chance social that you don't supposed to really know about. A lot of people don't know about them, but
the reason why people don't know about them is because they're illegal. They do not exist. It's not something that you're supposed to use, right? I don't really understand the point that he's trying to make here, unless he's a type of guy that sells CPNs or something like that, because there's no really
Pocket. I think he does. He said that on listen, there's a reason why I play these videos, all right? Remember what he said on that Fresh and Fit video, right? If I had a website that could put all this stuff together and just help people build credit, I would do it, right? You remember I played that? I won't be surprised if this dude right now, it has a fucking underground site on the dark web that sells CPNs, bro. So I won't be surprised. It's just too much free promotion on this shit, dog. So I'm glad, Pocket, you came to that conclusion, because that's what any rational person would come to. That's the conclusion they would come to. Nigga, you selling this shit? Why are you pushing this so hard, dog?
Advantage of spouting off a bunch of nonsense, unless it's really just to get a bunch of new followers, because it doesn't make sense. Clearly, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't done any type of research on this. You can go to any credit reporting website, right? Any one of the big credit reporting companies, and type in CPNs. And I bet money that somewhere in their frequently asked questions, they'll have some sort of blurb about CPNs and how they're illegal. This doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, we're talking about 2-3 minutes worth of Googling, and you can
and we're gonna leave it right there. And Pocket Watcher, you know what? You're actually I disagree with you because it does take a lot of time for these fanboys. Okay, they don't want to do research whatsoever. Okay, they don't give a shit. Okay, it's all about the money. It's what about what they can get from it. Nixon Talks. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says we need more Duke nukes. They're coming, baby. We're coming. We
Duke
are
Nukem,
coming.
baby.
Boom, baby. Duke Nukem. That's all I'm talking about. Hey, thank you for the $5 super chat, Nixon. Much appreciated. So I'm gonna let this last round go to y'all, man. What are your thoughts? What are your the perspectives of this whole situation? Where do you see this all going? What do you? Let's get it. We'll start with Poppy. Let's go with Poppy real quick. Go ahead, Poppy.
Man, like I say, no matter what you do, like if you trying to like provide people with a little bit of knowledge and stuff like that, yo, it really don't matter because it seems like people don't care and they are willingly want to give their money to these people. But now, if you come up with a real, actually business, they will question you. You know what I mean? You will get questioned. You see what I'm saying? You're trying to provide people with real information. So at the end of the day, man, it's like I always blame the people. It's like it's your fault, man. Don't cry later on. That's what I said earlier. I like Bandman Kevo because at least you know what type it is with him. You know what type it is with him. You see what I'm saying? What Bandman Kevo did was he used Google to his advantage. He learned a few points from Google because everything that he teaches you can find it on Google yourself. How to build credit, I don't know nothing about credit. I built my shit up in 2 years. I didn't pay no course. I asked a couple people, right, that know about it. They told me do this, do that. I'm at 730 right now. You see what I'm saying? So like I say, but they want to. What I think about what people do that is because they want to attach themselves to something. That's what I believe. They want to attach themselves to a movement. Like you see what I'm saying? Like they see him, he flashy. No. He got the $200,000 car. He got the $20,000 change. He got the 2-3 girls with him. So they want to attach that to that.
I feel you, dude. Like they want to attach themselves to that kind of wave, man. And that's the thing that we want to get people off of the online world and into the real world. And a lot of times that these guys doing this stuff, they live in the online world, man. No one in the real world really does that shit. I'm gonna tell you this, brothers. I know they got money in the real world. You wouldn't even know. You couldn't even tell, bro. That's the thing. So when these guys walk around, there are not a lot of people who are millionaires walking around wearing chains and all this colored beards and shit, man. There's not a lot of people doing that because they realize that you just make yourself a fucking target, a huge fucking target. So you're right. A lot of these guys, in the real world, it sucks, right? The internet world, it's to them, it's the new reality. See, that's why when y'all look at this virtual machine or virtual, what do you call it, the metaverse or whatever it is, right? Y'all think, oh, it never happened. No, technically, we're already fucking in it, bro. Like we're already in it. You guys are like investing in lives that are online that are better than your real lives at work, right? And what you guys do in the real world. So it's literally what's some technology coming in and just taking that to the next step where you guys could actually look rich but online, right? And it's never actually real. It's the same thing. Go ahead, Primo. What do you got?
Yo, man, this is crazy. You know, we got looks money maxing, we got money maxing, and now we got jail maxing. I didn't think it would be a thing, but here we are.
I didn't even these maxing things too. By the way, I literally found out about them when we were doing that. What do you call it? Coach Whitepill or Coach Josh. The whole because somebody was sending me a message about Jester maxing. I'm like, what's all this maxing shit? What the fuck is that? Looks maxing? Am I out of the loop with something? What's all this maxing shit, man? I don't get it. I don't know, Bobby. I'm trying.
They're just trying to sound fancy about like, hey, leveling up, whatever, right? So your looks maxing, so you're getting your looks up to the best they can be. So this is prison maxing. You're gonna get your sentence up to the highest it can be. This is prison maxing.
You get that Omi and the Hellcat special, that 512 years.
No, good stream. Appreciate it. Everybody.
Hey, Omi, I still fuck with you, dog. I know you watching. I still fuck with you. Hey,
yeah. And here's the thing: if somebody's making something in finance seem that complicated, there's probably something weird going on. So do your research. Yes. All right. Anyway,
go ahead, Canisius.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. General idea I like to see when you got scammers. If a guy is selling a universal solution when we all have complicated lives, there's probably something wrong. There's something wrong there. And Self-Made is requesting a John Anthony lifestyle impersonation. I can give it a go. Okay, guys, I'm the best there is. Hop on a 30-minute call. Okay, hop on. My wife, I mean my girlfriend. She's an engineer, bro. She's an engineer. Hop on, and then boom, there you go, self-made. And I'm waiting for Oscar Mayer to make that sausage yacht for Fresh and Myron and the crew to hang out on. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be dope. That'd be fucking dope. Just seeing that, man. Listen. We already know how they are with that high value song. Self-made. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Real quick. Hold up, real quick. I gotta. Oh. Hold up.
She belong.
Hold up, wrong button. There we go. I forgot what my explosion button was. I gotta get another one for that. John Anthony Lightson's Pro VD.
How could you forget the explosion button, dude? That's like your favorite button.
This is like my fourth glass. Okay, so after the fourth one, things started to look a little different. Okay, this shit's color coded. All right, so you got to give me some slack over here. Your boy's getting litty out here. All right, so he says, John Anthony Lifestyle is Pro BD, the Vital Best Studio president. Hey, I don't. We got the Vital doing that. Listen. Hey, listen. If we get John Anthony out here, hey, would you wanna? I don't know, Vital. You wanna do something? You wanna?
Hey, he can come on my show. You can go on your show.
Nah, I think John. Listen, John Anthony, his roasts are fucking ridiculous, bro. They go crazy. He be going hard, especially when he came at Rolo on them. I
like the heat.
I love his heat. I love his heat. So shout out to John Anthony. I fucking that impression was kind of funny, dog. You forgot the fact that he just calls him a fucking asshole. That fucking idiot. That went dumbass. You forgot that?
Oh, he's a total fucking loser.
A fucking loser, dog.
Fucking loser.
That's just
John Robert Tomasi, he's a fucking loser.
Look at that fucking loser. It's just a fucking loser.
My wife, my girl, Liz, she's an engineer, bro. Engineer.
Nah, man, I fuck with John Anthony, bro. He's funny. What is wrong? He does his shit funny as fucking hell, bro. But Grover.
Hey. So I have to tell you that this is nothing new. This is prosperity preaching for the internet age. So I'm a little confused why a man who talks a little like Elmer Fudd can actually get so much money out of people, but it is what it is. I've been astonished before, and I'll be astonished again. Only thing that I have to mirror what Caduceus said is that if you're selling a universal fix, it's probably full of shit because things are different and everyone's different and everyone has different needs. Only thing that ever bothers me when these people say stuff and they start talking about building generational wealth, because you can waste a good part of your life doing that and then you lose the ability to do it because time is your most valuable asset. Because you never know how much of you have. So, I'd like to thank you for having me on. Absolutely laughed my ass off, Caduceus. I don't know where you get that damn impression from, but I'm not drinking beer around you anymore. I'm not going to fuck up my computer, spitting all over my computer.
Yeah, I don't want your nose to start burning like some of these high value guys' crotches, man. It's gonna be bad.
All right, so hold on. We're not mentioning my nose and the crotch ever again in a sentence.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah.
That's facts, Grover and Canisius. Like that's real talk. Like even at some point it gets to the point where even a lot of this shit, getting boxed, at some point, man, for dudes, you're gonna get to a point where you want to settle down with that one girl. So have your fun while you can, but at some point you're gonna want to. I'm not saying marriage or anything like that, most guys, but at some point you're gonna get too old for this bullshit. It gets too fucking old because especially when you start dealing with these younger women, it's gonna get very interesting very fast, bro. Listen, I'm 27 and I deal with girls who are 19 and 20s, bro. Completely different world, completely different mentality, some of them. And real talk, I'm telling you right now, I can't imagine if I was 40, 50 years old trying to date some girl who was 25 to 20. The world, we worlds apart, bro. So really understand at some point in time, you want to be able to lock something down. You want to lock something down and get the fuck out of here. The shit that these guys are telling you, fucking, you gotta run the rotation and spin the plates. That's just for the birds, man. DJ Academics, it's for the birds.
Whatever you want to build, like whether it's Primal's party bus that he was talking about the other night, whether it's whatever you guys want, just whatever your goals are, work towards them. And I'm not going to tell you you're doing something wrong or right.
I will say this though: you will get you will get the results that you work for. And so if you're gonna, I mean, I know somebody who's a 65-year-old player, and he's okay with, you know, paying the nurse and dying alone. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
That's
I know a dude who's been married since he's 21, and he's older than me. And I'm like, how the hell are you still married in this day and age? He's an outlier, you know. So
Rollo Tomasi. No. Rollo Tomasi, yeah, that dude, yeah, he's been married for 25 years into this moment right now. Okay. I want to know how he did it, but apparently in his book Preventative Medicine, he tells you the opposite. So
dude, he gamed his wife, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So hey, you let me know what we're all doing wrong, Rollo. How are you able to have the quintessential marriage while everyone else here suffers? So just miss with that bullshit. But yeah, you know, no, those guys are rare, but the guys who do have that shit that are leading this shit right now are preaching for the separation. So I want to know how you kept your marriage together for 25 years, Rollo Tomasi. Write a book about that. Then come holler at your brother. All right. Until then, guys, I appreciate you guys being on. All right. I'm going to move you guys backstage so I can make my final adjustments, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Guys, real talk. You already see the strength of this channel. You see how far we're going, man. You see how fast we're growing. Guys, look. We got another camera over here, guys. This is a 4K right here for you guys. This was done by you guys right here. This was done by you guys. All the super chats, all the donation. This is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. This is just it. You got to see the studio that we have coming out, all the new content we're going to have coming out. There's going to be completely different from a lot of this shit, man. It's going to take this whole platform to the next level. I am not fucking joshing, bro. Like, you guys helped build this, and you guys going to help us take it to the next level. So that's why I'm letting you know a lot of this stuff is going to be subscriber-only mode, but you guys look at what the subscribers are doing. Look at what you guys did. All the new fucking equipment we're fucking with, the smoothness of the how streamlined our streams have been getting. Those of you guys who've been with us from day one, you see how fucking janky this shit is to where we are right now, and you guys are fucking doing it. You guys did this, and you guys gonna help Duke and Don, and you guys gonna help the whole entire family and everyone a part of this network get to the next level, because that's how we all are, man. We come together from all different walks of life to make all this happen. So like they said, I want to just make this announcement and let y'all know that I really appreciate all the work, all the super chat, all the engagements you guys have been putting on, because you guys are really helping this platform take off to the next level. The guests, the conversation we're going to be having coming down the pipeline, man, it's all going to be done and part and partial to every single one of you guys watching, super chatting, engaging. Every single thing matters, man. So guys, with that being said, listen, man. Listen, man. You know what time it is? Woo! Hey, y'all did this, bruh. Y'all did this. Don't be surprised. We got another camera coming out. Next time you see us, we're going to be in a man new studio, bruh, because you guys did this. You guys, every single super chat. Shout out to you, Bernie. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. You guys are doing all of this. Every single one of this, it goes back into this platform, bro. It goes back into building this to what we know we can be. A powerful network that all we do is speak fast and truth, bro. And you guys are doing it. So shout out to Bernie. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Poppy, Great Pill, Grover, Cadicius, Self-Made. All of you guys, man. Primo in the house. Django Jose. All right. Bernie L. Shout out to every single one of you guys. AJ in the chat. Great Pill. All right, hey, listen, man. You guys, we keep track. You guys help build this platform where it is, and you guys help us take it to this next level. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to catch you guys on a rebound and see you later. Oh, hell no. Woo! Come on.